Hey everybody, and welcome to Blood Bowl 2020 winners and losers. So what we're going to be doing tonight is we're going to be going through all the teams, all the core teams, and we're going to be talking about whether we think they're winners or losers in the new format, because obviously we've had spoilers, all the teams are out, and somewhere on the internet all the rules are out as well. And we're going to talk about what we think and how we think these teams are going to perform. I'm joined by two Bens tonight, not just one. We've got Bloodtithe Ben, as usual, who is hot off an incredible upset on Fumble in Summer Sorcery. Ben,
Hello.
how did you do that?
It was all luck, honestly. It was pretty downhill. It's against Antoine. He's a really good player. He was playing Beastmen, Secret Beastmen team.
I love the Secret Beastman team.
That's a really solid team. Yeah. Well, he kind of crushed me in the first half. I mean, he got a 1-0 win, but I did a cheeky defense. So it wasn't too much more than that. However, he in the second half it was sweltering heat for two drives, and
how
I was able to
appropriate.
score off both of those. Yeah, the second of which took I think 5 or 6 of his players out, so he was down to 3, and yeah, it was pretty mean.
That'll absolutely do it. Anyway, good. I'm glad you're with us now, and it sounds like you've had a fun Blood Bowl day. And we found another Ben. We are joined on the line also by Ben Davy, who's none other than the Bonehead Bowl champion from last year. Ben, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yourself?
Yeah, really, really, really good. Nice and hot today, and very excited to talk about this. So, Ben, I know you've been keeping up to date with all the leaks and spoilers. You quite happy? You got a good idea of what the format's exactly going to be like, 100%?
Which Ben? I am though.
This is going to get confusing.
I will take it. Okay, so what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to go team by team and talk about whether we think it's a winner or a loser, what's changed, if anything, and basically, let's get started. We're going to have some questions in chat as we go. I'll keep an eye on chat. But let's start with the first team. This one should be easy. Amazons. Okay, so it's not a spoiler. I think they're a loser team for Blood Bowl 2020 on account of them not being in the rulebook core. Now, Ben, I'm going to call you Bloodtithe and Ben. Okay, so Bloodtithe, you're Bloodtithe, and Ben, you're Ben. You had a little interesting tidbit. You think you saw a rumor today?
Yeah, that someone on Facebook was saying they'd seen the Legends PDF and they were talking about High Elves at the time, but they said there is a PDF, which I think we kind of all assumed there would be.
We do hope. Robin chat saying day one PDF, and
Yeah.
let's hope, because there's a lot of players out there who play a lot of these teams, and it will be very sad not to see them. So we're hoping for a PDF.
The one thing I would say is Chaos Dwarfs were on Build to Order not long ago,
Yes, they were.
and that would be really arse. Please buy this team, and we're not going to give them any rules for like another year or so.
That is a very good point. Now, I do feel that way about the Giant, but most of the Giants I have aren't Games Workshop, so I feel like that's it doesn't really count. Mark Pilgrim in chat playing for PDF. Yes, old Fangs. We're gonna be talking about you almost last thing. Okay, so that is Amazon's loser for this team, and then the next one is the same. It's Bretonians, who are technically not in this edition either. So we won't see a PDF for these guys, though, will we?
Well, no, because Pajiba's never done official rules for them, have they?
No. So just a Blood Bowl, just a Blood Bowl 2, I think. That wasn't in Blood Bowl 1. That was just Khorne. So yeah, Amazons not so good. Bretonian not so good. Oh my, Black Orcs much good. Okay, so technically we can't say whether they're a winner or a loser, but we're going to do it anyway, guys. The Black Orc team, we've seen the spoiler, we talked through it on the podcast, and I'm sure everyone's seen them. I mean, what is this? Is it the greatest greenskin team out there, or is it poor man's Lizardman? What do we think?
Oh, I think it has its own identity. Like on surface, it looks like a Lizardman team, but it will play very differently. I mean, your goblins are way slower, and your Black Orcs start much punchier. I think you're gonna have less cheeky plays than it. Well, you have 3 teammate potential actually, so you might have the cheeky plays. I think it's different. Yeah, I think it's got its identity.
Ben, what do you think?
I think the grab it makes it very different from Lizardmen. Their board control is going to be pretty awesome, and I think if you're being a bit mean, you surf a lot of people using grab to get people to the sidelines, and then maybe have a one Black Orc with Frenzy, maybe, just to keep shooing people into the crowd.
But yeah, got Stephen Knowles here. He says, "Hey, want to play lizards but not lose friends? This is the team for you." Matt's BBO, a Black Orcs or Orcs in the starter set. It's the Black Orc team that comes in the starter set with a troll, which is interesting because I think I ran the numbers. I'm not sure. I think you have to sacrifice a reroll to get that troll and the 6. I think it's a 2 reroll jobby, and I don't know if I would. I'm more inclined to do that or to take 5 Black Orcs and the extra reroll, or maybe drop the troll. I mean, not sure. It works with lizards to take the 2 rerolls because intrinsically they're the tiny stunty dudes are pretty great. But I don't know if I would lose the
built-in rerolls though. Sorry, you have got the built-in rerolls of Brawler. So
it may actually be even better. They may even be able to grind out using 6 Black Orcs, a troll, some goblins, and only 2 rerolls.
Do you guys value the skinks over the new goblins?
The new goblins are quite cool with the thick skull, stunty, and analog even. But I mean, the skinks are just great. Movement 8 stunty is fantastic. Yeah. Movement 6 stunty is really not bad. Okay, let's not forget that they're very good. We've all done. Let's not finish this sentence. We've all seen goblin players do incredible things, and yeah, I can see this being a really interesting team. I think it is you have to play tighter than lizards, but I think it will be very rewarding. It's definitely a solid tier 2 team. So I'm going to say winner for me, guys. Winner for you?
Yeah, winner.
Okay, so triple winner there. Magnum Opus in chat says, can you reroll Brawler? Yeah, if you roll a block, you can reroll 1 both down result from your block pool. So if you go both down, you can reroll one of the both downs. So it could be very useful. TH in chat says, an early PDF would calm the fans down and put less pressure on Games Workshop who may want to introduce new teams. And if they want to cut out teams, allowing those teams to die quietly in a legacy PDF would make sense. That is both...
Someone plays Age of Sigmar and 40k there.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you have a Tomb King's army? Because, yeah, that sounds exactly like it. I like that. Can you use a reroll after using Brawler? No, you cannot. You can never reroll a dice more than once.
Can you use it on the other dice, though? I haven't checked in the rulebook for that yet.
I would imagine so, yeah. I'd imagine so. I'm not sure. We'll have to check that one. Tier 3J says trolls are winners in this edition with the lower and a reroll, and the brawler is the block light skill. Yeah, this is a trained troll on this team, so this is a 3+ loner, and with the poor man's chainsaw being able to vomit on an opponent or themselves, which I think is pretty great. Is pretty great. Right, let's move on to the next team, and the next team is Chaos Chosen. So let me have a look at my notes for this. What do you guys think, Chaos Chosen? Winners or losers?
Winner.
Winner for me too.
Yeah.
Okay. Why? What's happened? What's happened to Chaos?
You first, Ben.
Okay, so they've got more big guys now. That's the thing. I think the Ogre might be better than the Minotaur.
Oh,
but I haven't crunched the numbers on that yet.
I think it will be more reliable, and I think that's the most exciting thing about this. So the Chaos roster, now you get to pick a big guy from a Troll, an Ogre, or a Minotaur. So you can tailor it to your playstyle. So if you want someone on the line to gum up the line and just take punches, get the Troll. If you want something more reliable, you've got the Ogre. And if you want to, enjoy the game of Blood Bowl, you take the Minotaur because it's the best. It's the best big guy. It might be that actually the Ogre is the right choice, but I don't know. Strength 6 Frenzy is just always great.
I like my Beastmen going around in the blitzes, if I'm honest.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. So what have we got in our notes? I love this team has basically stayed the same. It was solid tier 2 before, but you now get to pick your big guy. However, the con is worse passing. So the Beastmen still can pass, and the Chaos Warriors can pass, but the Chaos Warriors can pass on it to a lesser extent. So they are passing on Edge 2 and dodging on Edge 3 if you are conversant with the old rules, which I think we are all going to be. Probably the best way to, because they are, they're actually passing worse than that. So they're dodging on a 3+ and passing on a 5+ for Chaos blockers, but you don't get an awful lot of Chaos passing.
No. The big winner I think they're with, and we've chatted about this before, is I think the random skills for Beastmen is going to be brilliant. You just take a random mutation and then you build around it. So they're almost all good.
Oh, I
So
like
let's
that.
see. You get a cheeky tentacle as your first skill. Cool. I'll take tackle and I'll.
He goes on the line, or he's your marker.
Yeah. So I'll get claws. Cool. Next one's mighty blow, friend. Or maybe not mighty blow anymore, but But I mean, you can take that cheeky mutation to start with, get skilled up very quickly, which is one of the issues with Chaos. Is they can take once they get going, they're amazing, but this first kind of 3, 4, 5 games can be.
But like you said, the advantage of that is they're a blank slate. So yes, you can do that. And Mighty Blow is still a normal for the Beastman. So if you did take a cheeky random skill for 3 SPP, you're only waiting for what, 8 for your second skill up to pick Mighty Blow to go with it. And that's a really cool thing about the new SPP model is that you can take a gamble, but also build your guys. So let me just have a cheeky check. Cheeky check in chat. Dwarf's still the most boring team in BB. Well, you'll find out very soon. Fabian, too many choices. Can use the flavour of the team, yes, but I think, like Ben said, with Chaos, you've got the mutations. The theme of Chaos, or the feel of Chaos, is they're quite unique, and things just happen. He says, what would happen if you roll a duplicate? I think you literally just re-roll it. I don't think you get to choose one. I think you have to re-roll. Which makes a lot of sense. Right. Let's bounce over to the next team, which is Chaos Dwarf. So they're not in the book. We're hoping there's going to be a PDF soon. So for now, loser. Okay, something that I certainly don't think is a loser in this situation at all is the Chaos Renegade teams.
Oh, man.
Bloodtithe, I know you've got a beautiful Renegade team that you're brewing up, and it just got better. What are your thoughts on the Renegade spoiler?
This really excited me. I think purely because of the flavour of it all. Like, something that the Chaos Chosen team have as well as this new favoured of, and you pick a Chaos God.
Pickled onion.
Yeah. We're not quite sure what that represents yet, are we?
Yeah. Basically, it's
to
do with future inducements. So there's nothing tied to it just yet. But if, say, you take favoured of corn, it may limit inducements that you're available to have in the long run in the future. So
okay, so it doesn't add new rules.
No, nothing exciting just yet.
Cool. But anyway, just from where I have a themed team with the Tzeentch team, I was just like, oh yeah, now I can have like them actually mark of Tzeentch essentially, and they've added in a new position.
Oh,
they've got a choice too.
They have got they got 2 new positionals. They get a Renegade Human Thrower straight off the bat.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So 75k for this guy. 6/3, 3+3+, 9+, animosity, everybody. Literally all teammates pass, and safe pair of hands. So for 75k, you don't get sure hands, but you do get a 3+ pass to buddy up with your Dark Elf, who's also got 3+ pass. But they do both have animosity, everybody. But animosity is not the worst thing. I mean, I've never been stung by animosity. I've run Underworld and I've played against Pact. I've never really seen it come into action or been that penalising. Actually, that's not fair. That one game where we played with the Gutter World roster, Ben, and my Gutter Runner decided not to hand the ball off. That was a pain, actually. But yeah,
it's going to cost you a game one day.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So they get a Renegade Human Thrower. The rest of the team is basically unchanged, with the exception that the linemen, who used to be able to get access to everything, are now only general and mutation on singles, with agility and strength going to secondary skill with no passing access for the lineman. Passing access goes to your Human Thrower. So you've got another position you have to take. But the most exciting thing is you get a Chaos Renegade team may include up to 3 big guys chosen from among the following: Renegade Troll, Renegade Ogre, Renegade Minotaur, Renegade Rat Ogre.
Oh, yes.
So they get a Rat Ogre. 150k, 6/5, 4+, dash, 9+, Animal Savagery, which is the one where if you roll badly, it eats. It punches one of the guys next door to him, then carries on as if nothing had happened. He's also got Frenzy, Loner 4+, Mighty Blow 1, and Prehensile Tail. So Rat Ogre, I think, got better because of Animal Savagery. And now you don't have to take the Troll, Ben. It's okay, you don't have to take the Troll.
Well, I think you do have to take the troll.
But yeah, you get that extra big guy. Yeah, you get the extra big guy choice.
Yeah.
So as far as Pact goes, I think they're a winner, guys.
Oh, definitely a winner.
All right, fantastic. So Pact do very well changing up in this. The only thing is, have I got any negatives? But they come with animosity, which I feel like we have covered.
They lost access to strength, but I think everything else makes up for that.
Yeah,
You know,
I think. Sorry, go for it, Ben.
No, I was going to say they were so universal before, but now they've added the throw in. They've kind of specialised the linesman a little bit, but you got mutations. You can just wait a few extra on star player points and get a double anyway. So I don't think it's a big loss now that doubles are secondary skills are easier to get.
Paladin Demo says trolls can throw, rat ogres don't do that, but there's no there is a goblin to throw, so you've got the troll and ogre for the double combo. Mark Pilgrim though, I wouldn't take the minotaur and the rat ogre because you can only blitz once a turn. I think with the rat ogre, animal savagery is okay for you to do blocks and a bit of walking, and just might eat one of your own guys. He said, Simar says, is passing good enough for the thrower to get taken? You have an elf after all. Hey, it depends. The elf is better, obviously, because he's got higher agility. There is just something about a thrower. It does come with pass, and it does come with safe pair of hands, which is if he fumbles, he basically just doesn't fumble, which could be very useful if you're going for that stretch play. So I think Pact are a solid winner. They got better, they got more positionals, and just as far as the stat nerfing went, it feels like they didn't get hurt that much.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
I would say with the dark elf and the thrower, sorry, and it's something I think a lot of people need to get used to. I think now you need to look at having two throwers, not one, because that was the kind of thing. You have one thrower to go back, get the ball, maybe pass on, and then you move. But I think now passing's a lot more limited. I think you might want that second thrower, even if they're just like in a linesman position.
I mean, and they're not massively expensive. The thrower is 25k more than a lineman. I suppose it's quite a lot, but yeah,
comes with two skills.
yeah, exactly. Safe pair of hands picks where the ball goes when knocked over too. Oh, that could be very useful, especially if you are supporting your team, if you're running with them. Loss of mass strength is a huge deal for me towards power level though, but the team is fun. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Not being able to take guard everywhere certainly does knock them down a bit if that's the way you were building your team. Next team up, we've got everybody's favourite elves, the Dark Elves. So, Bloodtithe, Dark Elves. You've played against Ian Triplos once or twice. What do you think with the Dark Elf team?
It's interesting. The first thing I notice is that the ordinary Dark Elf, which tends to be a lineman on the Renegade team, is better than the Dark Elf lineman on the Dark Elf team.
Yeah, the Dark Elf linemen are not quite as good as the Dark Elf lineman that went away and joined a different team.
Yeah.
Which raises questions. Actually, let's have a look. So, Renegade Dark Elf, 632 plus 3 plus 9 plus. Dark Elf lineman, 63249. Yeah, you're quite right. He's just straight one better at passing.
Yeah.
Let's say that being on a pack team has unlocked his elven potential. How's that?
Yeah, there you go.
They just bought the best elves.
Yeah, maybe they can only have one.
Yeah.
They can only have one.
Yeah.
We're Sineshi Worshippers. You're gonna love it over here. We're not really, but don't tell him.
Okay, so one thing to mention about Dark Elves is one good thing first of all is assassins. I mean, we did some experiments with assassins to try and find out if they were as underpowered as we thought they were. They were definitely suboptimal. We gave it a go on stream for quite a bit, but they got better. They got 5k cheaper, and they did get movement 7, which kind of makes them a little bit more useful because they've got that one extra square of movement to break free, to go for the pass, to be a catcher. They've got the 2+ agility, so for 15k more than a lineman, you get a chap with 1 extra movement but 1 less armor. I think if you consider it that way round, then the assassins kind of become runner support and makes the team, you get that option for 15k. However, you don't often have 15k lying around for Dark Elves.
No.
It's just, I think they're still going to be suboptimal. I think they're still not going to be everywhere, but you're not going to feel quite so bad when you've got an assassin in the open. It's got 7 squares, and then it can run in, get a stab, and then you can take Frenzy or multi-block and just have a great time stabbing stuff. So for me, Dark Elves are in fact losers. I've marked them down as losers, and the reason I think they're losers is because they have lost a huge amount of throwing ability. And they, I think, their costs gone up as well? Or did the costs of the team stay the same? I think
they went up slightly, but pretty much every team went up slightly.
Yeah, so I think it's probably on par with that. But I've marked them down as losers because you did always have that potential with Dark Elves. They were expensive. You only had 11 of them normally. You're going to lose 2, possibly. But then you could always throw your way out. Even the Dark Elf linemen were great players. Now the Dark Elf linemen throw the same as human linemen. They dodge better, but they throw the same as a human lineman. In fact, they throw the same as a goblin. It's just, you lose that flexibility that sometimes you need with a premium price team for me. So I think they kind of lose. I think you'll be fine. I think you'll have to earn your wins a little bit more with Dark Elves. But I think they've taken a little bit of the OP away from them. Guys, what do you think? Winners or losers?
I don't think it's strong enough to say a loser. I see what you mean. And the fact losing that play, I just think they're still really solid. They've always been the Bashy Elf team, and they still do that really well. You've got the clutch throw on the runner if you need. Like 3+ isn't terrible with your dump off. Like kind of that's all they kind of really used to throw, right? Like you can obviously have that clutch throw, but it's still okay to do that. I don't know. I don't think they've lost enough to be losers. That's my opinion.
That's fair. Ben, are you in the same camp?
I am. I think they're, if as the, I don't want to say doomsayers are saying, but the game's going runny. Well, they're one of the best running teams out there. So you've still got the Witch Elf to kind of with Frenzy to get through. You're still going to be based around Witch Elves and Blitzers, even if throwing was still there. They're still the core of the team. The Assassin being better, I sort of think is worth taking, but I don't know. It does feel like I'm kind of in this where I don't think I'm kind of in the middle, but if I had to edge one way, I would say they're probably slight losers, but not enough that I feel okay saying that. If that makes sense.
I think they've lost out a little bit more than other teams, but they are they're still very top tier.
Yeah,
yes.
Not as losery as some of the teams that we have coming up.
Oh yes.
Definitely not. A couple of bits in chat. The runner costs a bit more now. Yeah, sounds like Assassins became tight ends. Oh yeah, that's actually quite interesting. Stephen Knoll says this applies to all elf and stunty teams. The anti-guard skill is an edge skill, so that'll help against dwarves and such. Oh, I don't know. I still think you'd be dodging first with Dark Elves. Magnum said their anti-guard is a trap. It's only on their turn. Higher price Dark Elves means stronger team. I'm with Bloodtithe, neither a winner or a loser. They'll keep the tier 1 spot. Easy, said Matt's BBO. Yeah, better than nothing. So yeah, right, cool. That is it for Dark Elves. Generally speaking, on par. And talking about on par, we've got the immovable object. We have got the dwarf team, everybody's favourite trope. Okay, dwarves. What changes have we seen from the dwarf team? Have we seen any changes at all?
Troll Slayers can't throw anymore.
Troll Slayers, yeah, actually they cannot throw at all. Now this was a badge 2 player that was able to do a quick pass on a 4+ sometimes. I liked the Slayer previously as kind of like a bit of a support. Movement 5 is relatively fast for a dwarf team. It's lost that. I get it because it's too busy brawling. It's just spiked up. I do kind of get that. They've gone up 5k as well, and so has the runner, and the death roller has gone up 10k.
Yeah. I never took death rollers.
No, I was really hoping they'd take this opportunity to make the death roller more interesting. Maybe make it cheaper, maybe make it a ball and chain, do something to try and, to two things really. To shake up the build, so actually incentivize taking a different build rather than the standard. But also, I thought Games Workshop might want to juice up that £40 Forge World model. Yeah. Because at the moment, people buy it and then it never gets used because you never have TV to induce one, and you just never want to spend the equivalent of any other 2 dwarfs on your team to use it, and it's secret weapon. I thought they were going to lose secret weapon or they were going to do something else, but it didn't happen. No.
It's too much on your team rate, team value, in my opinion, to take it just to have it sent off potentially. when I used to play against one of my regular opponents, he always used to put it on the pitch to start with, and the amount of times my gutter runner scores on turn 2, and he cries. And I've got to, I mean, he stopped me from stalling.
Maybe that's it. It's 170k, but at that point, it is not better than a wizard, and you would just take the wizard. No. Mark Pilgrim says that they've ironed out loads of contentious things in Blood Bowl and just left dwarves the same.
Yeah.
So I was excited. Sorry, go for it, Ben.
I was going to say, when we got the Old World Alliance preview first, I was like, dwarves are fixed. We can play dwarves and not feel bad. And then the dwarf one came out, and I was sad.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I was about to say. Comparably, the linemen got worse at throwing, but so did everybody. They kept the same skills, and only the runner and slayer got any increase on price. It could cost a positional or a reroll at a 1 million build, though. So dwarves do get a little tick down with 1 less positional or 1 less rerolls to start, but it doesn't take long for dwarves to get gold. They're very good at that.
I'm sorry, if the downside is the movement 4 players not as good at passing anymore, I think I'd take it.
Those sweet breakouts. So the roller has got slightly better. It's got dirty player +2, but it's 170k is a lot to go fouling with. I mean, you know, that's it. So for me, they stay the same. They stay exactly the same. For you guys, winners for dwarves?
They're winners because they didn't get any real downgrades.
Yeah,
and I would also say the Mighty Blow +2. It's cool. Sorry, Mighty Blow. The Dirty Player +2. It's cool to see because it's showing them using that stat. But dwarfs removing players is not their issue.
Yeah,
yeah, that is very, very, very true.
I marked them down as a winner as well, but really, I think they're a loser because, like you said, Ben, like I was just really hoping they'd be fun.
Yeah, I love dwarfs. They're one of my original teams.
Exactly.
Same here, actually, but they just didn't feel that. I don't know. They just felt more fun back in the day. Paladin demo with the absolute winner in chat. The dwarves became the Patriots. We don't rebuild, we just reload. Absolutely fantastic. Morning from Australia, Jason Webster. How you doing? Craig Nash says dwarves are still a thing. Yeah, there we go. That is
on the Patriots analogy. I would say, obviously, it's now last year, but the dwarf runner has got about the speed of Tom Brady these days.
Yeah, well, Tom Brady's now Cam Newton, so it could be quite interesting if we get a season. Right, next man up is some real throwing teams. So the Pro Elves. So any notes on Pro Elves, guys?
Their blitzers throw in a 3+, I believe.
Yes. Yeah,
that's really cool.
They're the only team with up to 4 players with passing 3 or better, I think.
Yeah.
It's a real rarity.
And it makes me excited that if we potentially get High Elves, that they might get more because the High Elves are meant to be the throwing team.
Yeah.
That's what Stephen Knowles in our Discord, he shared a file earlier with some brewed up rules for the rest of the missing teams, and he did say High Elves are due to be the passing team. In that regard, it kind of makes sense that they've not released them with the first wave, because actually they can drop a team that plays a little bit, you know, unlike any other team at a later point. They can introduce this team that then has 6 players that can do a cheeky 3+, even if it's just their catchers and their throwers, you know, cheeky flea flicker play for the elves. It could be something they land later, but Elf Union here, up to 4 players with past 3+ or better. They did get slightly more expensive, an extra 5k on the thrower and the blitzers, and across the board the throwing just got worse. Their thrower is as good as a human thrower for me. That's something I did note. What do you guys think?
See, we've in our notes we've actually got pretty mixed views on this. Like, I think in a vacuum this team does look a bit, it's just there. But like, they are significantly better at the ball game than pretty much every other team. Just because all the other teams have find it much harder to throw now. And I think that will make them stand out. Like you say, until High Elves come along, I think this is the throw team, and I think that will, you know, they'll have their place as that.
Okay, so the thing that enables a great throwing game is having great catchers, and their catchers have not changed. Still 100k, 8-3, 2+, 4+, so they're catching on 2s with still got Nerves of Steel. They've still got Catch to do that cheeky reroll. And they're going to be using the agility to deflect passes as well as intercept them. So I think them being able to do that is going to increase their utility ever so slightly. That 2+ pass forever, and their thrower is a 2+ with a reroll. It's going to be 2+, 3+, 4+, 5+. That's not a bad spread. And then all it needs to do is they've got AGP is get 1 level up, and there's 2 throwing skills that boost your game, isn't there?
Yeah.
Accurate and long accurate, which is like Cannoneer or something now. So there's still those skills that can give you, a pseudo 1+ passing. In fact, you can even get 1+ passing. Well, it's going to cost you some SPPs to upgrade now. So you've still got those catches. Those catches can still seriously catch, and you've got some great blitzers with block, sidestep, 3+. I'm going to change my mind here, guys. I think these are winners.
Yeah, I think they really are.
I think they're the opposite of Dark Elves to me in that they're winners. I don't think they're massive winners because they haven't really changed massively, but they are definitely better in a vacuum than they were.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're still. Well, I've never been sure that these guys have been tier 2. I've always seen them run really well in leagues. They struggle in resurrection tournaments. I think they do really well because no one dies. Well, if they do die, they only die temporarily. We've got a great question in chat though from David Scott. He says, "Do you see teams still starting at 1 million?" The league rules in the rulebook is still 1 million, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so, yes.
Yeah, so I can see that. I think most tournaments you're looking at 1100 still, and then simple skills. I mean, Ben and I were talking before the show at the beginning of the stream about this and how we think that when the format goes live, it's going to be you get X skills, which is how we always done our tournaments because it's just a little bit easier for people to figure out. But
it's also worth noting there's a lot of more cheaper inducements now as well. So you can kind of, I think that way you have maybe less money to play with, you can still get some inducements.
Yeah, and I think that's only going to get better because that's another thing that has been a problem in Blood Bowl for a while is the inducements have never really made up for it until you get to that sweet spot of 250 where you can employ a star player to win the game but lose your SPPs.
For me, it's always Bloodwiser Babes, maybe Wandering Topography, and if I really thought I needed a wizard. Yeah. That's the only ones I've already took.
And having some more options is going to be interesting. Razan says all teams should be judged by league play. Tournaments are fine, but the game is designed for leagues. Well then, elves are still elves. They're still going to get murdered, but they are still going to upset people.
You get slightly more money now, though, don't you, in leagues? Not the crazy amount that it was first rumored.
No, not the 2d6.
Like 200. I don't know. Like 250 gold for your first game. Well, okay, I'll just buy the entire team then.
Yeah,
but
you're exactly right.
Money's a little bit more free, so I think elves are better in that respect.
Yeah. So what is it? It's 2d3 plus your fans, and your fans are between I think 1 and 6 or 0 and 6. And then the end of the match, you add both teams' D3 plus fan rating, half it, and then add the number of touchdowns, times it by 10. So realistically, at the beginning of a league, you're looking at getting 40k a game, something like that. But as your team gets better, both teams will get more money. And that's a really good catch-up mechanic for leagues. I do like that. So if you play against
fan factor
at the beginning, you can up to 6.
You still buy it, okay?
Yeah, for 10k. Because it goes up if you roll a d6 and it's over your fame or something, over your fan factor now. Something like that. I don't know. It'd be interesting. Craig Nash in chat. Can't wait for the first Death Zone / Dungeon Bowl. Bound to be some more rule changes. Absolutely. Get some extra inducements and stuff in there. And of course, dungeons. Right. Goblins. Guys, what do you think? Goblins. Ben, this is your Bloodtithe. This was your first league team, which was bold.
It was.
And,
that was brave.
We've got a whole episode about that.
Yeah, episode 16, I think, was how not to start in Blood Bowl. And Ben was like, that guy's got a chainsaw. I'll have 2. So, Goblins. What happened to Goblins?
I'm almost disappointed. And that's only because there's still goblins, but now we have snotlings. You know what I mean?
They've been outstunted.
Like they just seem kind of vanilla now.
Goblins are too good now.
Too good, aren't they?
That's exactly it.
Like maybe a tier 2 team here.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Goblins, they've been struggling out of tier 3 since the Doom Diver became brilliant, and I think they've just got an extra bit of a boost. They're still tier 3, but they can win now. And the first thing for me is that the Trolls, now the Troll has got cheeky 3+ on Loner. It's a small amount, but it will just help a little bit, and obviously it comes with the Troll Vomit skill. So you know, if you, I mean, what was it? I think Bloodtithe, you pointed this out the other day. You said it's going to be quite useful if you don't want to take a 1-die or a -2-die block on another big guy. You just throw up on him.
Yeah, exactly. Which happens a lot. Sometimes you just want your big guy there, you know. Yeah,
especially with Trolls, if because they've got strength access. It's, you know, if one Troll is the thrower, the other one is the brawler. If you don't want to save up the money to get block on a double, which you probably should do now, you can go for guard. Just put him on the front line, and then just throw up on stuff. But you do risk the activation. But cheeky 3+ Loner does help them a little bit. How about you, Ben? Any hot takes on Goblins?
Did the Doom Diver get slightly worse? I'm right in thinking, didn't it?
I think the Doom Diver actually even out. It just got worse in comparison to other Goblins.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah, they're more fun, I guess. They look better. I'm probably one of the worst people to talk about Goblins because I've never used them.
Wow.
Stunties are. I've not really ever used a stunty team bar an ogre team, and really they're not a stunty team. That's just 6 ogres beating stuff up and some guys at the back.
It's ogres and some tackle zones. Yeah. No, that's fair.
So yeah, so it's I don't know. I'm just used to killing them. They they look better.
Actually, the divers did get slightly worse. Swoop, you still use the throwing template to scatter them, but they don't get the +1 to land. Now, I think we talked about this in one of the group chats. The +1 to land is taken into consideration for everybody's agility going up, but when you are throwing teammate, a standard pass, so a pass that wasn't an accurate pass, which is when you're throwing a teammate, most of them, it actually gives you an extra -1 to land. So these guys on an inaccurate pass are landing on a 4+ rather than a 3+. Now, it's still not bad, and you can always roll a 6 with a Troll and give you that extra chance to land it. I think the Diver was reportedly too convenient. I mean, Ben, we've seen it comboed up with Ripper, haven't we?
Yeah, it's actually very good, or was. Yeah.
Yeah, I played against a few times. It felt too good to me. It felt a little bit too accurate, and the fact that you're guaranteed to go forwards, just you know, that's half the risk gone from throwing a teammate.
Yeah, it's
as soon as he gets dodged as well, it's like
it was a bit too combo, so it's a slightly minus, but that's not bad. It's not terrible.
It's worth noting, as you brought up throw teammate though, something I think that makes these guys better is throw teammate now gives SPP.
Oh, it does.
Yes.
If you do a superb pass though, which is not an accurate pass, it's a superb pass, which is a 6+, I think. And then you land it, the Troll gets an SPP, which, hey, we've been wanting this since episode 1 of the podcast. We've said that if you land a throw teammate guy, you should get SPP because you are doing a good throwing job. And it's now actually canon. So yeah, Trolls could get some cheeky SPP here and there, just throwing Goblins. But I think we'll see slightly more of that with Ogres, but we'll come to that in a bit. So the standard Goblin lineman is exactly the same as it ever was. The Bomber is exactly the same as it ever was. Bombardier has not actually changed, with the exception of if you catch the bomb on a 4+, it goes off anyway. So it got slightly better, which is probably why it's gone up 5k.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Feels like a cheap 5k.
It's a great 5k for a 4+. Basically, my interception doesn't matter. The Looney's the same, the Fanatic's the same. The Pogo went up 5k because Pogo Stick got comparatively better as a skill. So it's still leap very long legs, but leap very long legs is not what it used to be. So the Pogo Stick is just leaping around on a 3+. And that is brilliant these days, because otherwise when you are leaping, you are landing the same way as a stunty. So every tackle zone you're landing in or leaving, the greatest amount, you suffer a modifier to. Pogo stick just ignores all of that, and stunty leaps on a 3+ forever. So
I think that's going to become in very useful.
I think that's lovely. And I think Goblin players generally want things to be simple and chaotic. And just 3+ he gets out of there is really great for the stunties.
It's nice he got better, because obviously the Pogo was like one of the main stunties, and then the Doom Diver came out, and the Pogo kind of lost a bit of its shine, I'd say.
Mm.
It was one of those,
it had. You're right.
It was like, oh, you're my favourite son. Oh, now this guy's come along. Yeah, go away, number 2, son.
That's exactly it. The Diver came in and took over, and you had the Pogo was your backup Doom Diver. And I think now it's leaping on a 3+ forever is actually it gives you a good alternative. A couple of bits in chat. Craig Nash says, has the Wood Elves been done already? No, we are alphabetically going through these, so they are way down the road. Easy MVP for first troll level if you're lucky, absolutely. Stuart Legg, the problem with the Diver means you can move him forward and then use the troll to move him a few squares in, and then throw him 3 squares back from the touchdown line. It means it automatically glides in for the touchdown. Oh, I see. If you're throwing team, yeah, but you still got a 4+ land to make, and if you can't get a go for it into the end zone, a 4+ landing roll, maybe. Paladin demo win, having a more effective bomber and SPP for throwing teammates. Yeah, absolutely fine. 2 trolls that are better. It's a win for me, guys.
Yeah, win.
And I know that Bloodtithe is going to be a win for Goblins. Just check the notes and see if there's anything else. Oh yeah, the Hooligan got better as well. It got rid of fan favourite and that kind of nonsense. It's now got Dirty Player, so you start with the Goblin Fowler, and it has Disturbing Presence as well. So it's just much more Goblin. This roster is much more Goblin. You got slightly better trolls. You got 2 good manoeuvrable stunties now, and just a bunch of Goblin madness. I think Goblins got slightly better, and I like them. I'm tempted by Goblins.
I think they'll become the tier 2-riest tier 3 team. Oh, sorry, Ben.
Sorry, Ben.
Did Dirty Player get better as well?
No, Dirty Player is the same, but there is also Dirty Player +2, but only if you are.
Which one's where you can blitz and basically do a move, foul move?
Is that not just the Black Goblin?
Oh, is that just Black Goblin? Ah, that's what. Sorry. Goblin
be.
players are talking in a chat. I got confused.
It might be. I'm not sure. That could be really good. Right. Next team is, like Ben said, more stunty nonsense. It is the most boring of all the stunties. It's the Halflings.
Bold statement, Ben.
Hey. There's no. Where are the chainsaws? Where are the monsters? Where are the secret weapons?
They won't kill us, Halfling.
These guys are just. They're barely stunty. They're just dwarves without beards. They don't mind being tossed.
They'd be my favourite center team of the werewolf having to pee on the tree rules that existed.
You know what? I can see with Games Workshop's design philosophy, them bringing a rule like that back. Sneaky Git guys in chat are saying Sneaky Git is that skill. It says 1 level up for the Hooligan. Nice. Matt's BBL, slander, lies, 14 missiles and 2 treemen on a team. If you want missiles, ogres are your team. Anyway, Halflings, what's your hot takes, guys? Anything good or bad for Halflings?
The Heifer throws on a 3+, which just feels weird.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. Halflings just got one of the best passing games in the game. It's ridiculous. Their Hefties are thrown on a 3+. Their catchers are catching on a 3+ with catch, and then just 3+ stunty running everywhere. This is we could see some tree manless Halfling teams.
I've not double checked. Does Stunty still stop you from throwing a long bomb?
I don't think it does. I think they've just piled all that back in. I'll have a quick look as well and just see if there's anything in the Stunty skill. Where are the skills? Here we go. This is a skill. This is another skill. No, that's Pogo. Where is Stunty? Oh, all these skills. Stunty. Dodging. Passing. When an opposition player attempts to interfere with the pass action performed by this player may apply a +1 modifier to their agility test. So it doesn't affect their throw, it just makes them 1 easier to intercept because they're tiny.
Wow.
So long bombing halflings.
3
New
plus,
meta.
4 plus, 5 plus, 6 plus. They can do it. They might get intercepted. You know, guys, that actually plays into every bombardier for the stunties. So the goblin bombardier actually gets intercepted 1 easier now.
Oh, okay. Well, when it blows up in the hand.
Yeah, exactly. But on a 4 plus, it still blows up. And they use the stunty table instead of the regular table for injuries. So actually, yeah, they can still pass, and they've got some catches, and the catches were a great upgrade for halflings in the last season. I suppose we can call it that now. And now I think they've just got a reasonable short pass game. Unfortunately, throw teammate does still count as your pass action, so it's not you're not going to see any massive chain stunty moving of the ball, which is a bit of a shame. But it would have been great. Would have been great if they had that second one, but still.
The heifers are really good now, though. They're dodge, fend, a 3+ pass. They're kind of they're just an all-round player.
Yeah, 50k,
Yeah.
5/2, 3 plus, 3 plus. So that's one of the better players out there. 8 plus with armor 7, comparatively, pretty good for halflings. Dodge, fend, stunty, agility, and passing on primary. So they can't take sure hands, but they can take any kind of other skill you want. They don't have right stuff, so you can't throw them, but they've still got stunty dodge. They're still flying around. Hefties for the win. So
Yeah.
that model you've lovingly painted up to look like the Hell's Kitchen guy is going to be one of your favourite players now. Gordon Ramsay face. One of them's got a Gordon Ramsay face. That's it.
I was wondering where you're going.
Yeah, I couldn't remember his name. Mark Pilgrim in chat says, still got access to Rumbelow and Carla. Yes, so there are star players in this, and most of them have got models. Some of them don't. Rumbelow is one of those that doesn't have a model but is still in the book, so I think that might be a bit of a giveaway of what we might also be seeing this year.
Yeah. Likewise, I was going to say earlier, the fact that so many teams have got rat ogres now, I think a plastic rat ogre might be on the way.
Ooh, we need a plastic rat ogre almost as much as we need Croxigors.
We just need another rat ogre. The forged one sucks. No.
Yeah, it's not great. There's a lot of alternatives out there. Not as many as there are for Minotaurs. What do we got here? We've got a couple of bits in chat as well. Matt's BBL says, I noticed some players can never access passing skills. Yeah, they've removed the Omni access from everybody. Stephen Loud, hefty hunting is now going to become a popular blood sport. Oh, fantastic. And Marcus Johansson, so you could do a Project Potato with no trees, hefties, and better passing players. Yeah, it could be really good.
Project Potato.
I think that's going to help him in sevens, which I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, I'm still not sure you want to not take the treeman.
Yeah, no. The thing is, these guys are so cheap, you might as well take the treeman. I think it's just mean that you don't need them to be able to pull off some horrible stunty nonsense. We've got a semi-passing stunty team, so that is a win for me, guys.
Yeah, big win.
Yeah, it's still win. They're still, as you said, they're still the boring stunties.
Yep, only two big guys. Not so good. Right, next up. It's the humans. So classically and typically they're fine. They're okay. Humans aren't that interesting. They're all right. They're more interesting than Amazons, but otherwise they're okay. But I think they got great. What do you guys think of humans, Ben? Hot takes on humans.
They're
show.
Essentially the best passing team in the game.
Ridiculously,
But they're
up there.
now.
They are
yeah,
absolutely.
You don't think that's a typo, do you? Because all the other human throwers are only 3+,
And he's a 2+.
And it is, and I love GW to bits, especially since they've stopped being evil or as evil. But they do get the occasional typo left in.
Now, I am inclined to believe we will see an FAQ for this. I don't think it's going to be this because these guys are 80k.
Yeah, no, I think it's right, but
it's just bold.
Yeah,
it's really bold. But you're right. These guys have got up this before even the most exciting part of this roster. Thrower has 2+ PA, which is the best thrower in the game. Comes with shorehand and pass. sorry, the best throwing stat in the game. Whether it's the best thrower is up to you, but I think it might be the best pocket passer in the game. The catchers aren't the best, but with edge 3 and dodge and catch, they can get the ball and escape with it, which is what Ben's kind of alluding to there. That actually, if you wanna throw things without being completely murdered every time, humans might be the all-rounder team that they were meant to be.
Yeah, I still don't rate human catchers. I've played a lot of humans in leagues, and even had one my original Purple Cobras where White Goodman was a catcher and he got the ball passed it to him. It didn't care how many players were on him, but I don't know. I think the blitzers are better, but then even then the blitzers will catch a free up, so you can still pass to them.
You can still pass to the blitzers, and they've still got movement 7. They've still got block. They're not going to give the ball back to you, having a passing stat of 5+, I think, or is it 4+ for the humans?
4+ for their blitzers, which again I think is better than some other teams' blitzers.
Yeah, Skaven blitzers got 5+. So okay, so even the blitzers aren't bad with 4+. They're going to be survival. That's probably why they went up.
It's
5K.
Catchers passing a 5 up, which is a bit odd, I guess.
Taking one catcher, or to have him as a movement 8 stretch play or a movement 8 fouler, or just the ability to just chuck him down and try and catch that ball. It is more likely to be a thing now if you want to go for a passing play design. But I think the most exciting thing about this is it does allow you to build a team with 4 catchers and a thrower, and you may not have very good defense, but you're going to have a lot of fun on the offense.
You're going to play a lot of 4-3 games.
Yeah, I think an all-human league actually just got really interesting, and they got even more positionals. They got the skill. They unlocked the ogre. They've got the ogre, but they've unlocked its potential and given it some tiny dwarves to throw. Straight from the Shire, the humans get 0-3 halfling hopefuls, and they've got no loner, they've got no animosity. These guys just love being thrown around by an ogre. For a human team, 0-3 halfling hopefuls. Humans got tier 1, guys, because they've got throw teammate, they've got the best thrower. I've got an ogre. This team's got everything. Humans are great now.
No, they shouldn't have halflings. That's wrong.
It does sap a bit of flavour out of the Old World Alliance, doesn't it?
It does.
It really does.
Not happy about that myself. I love the Old World Alliance.
They landed this exciting team and then just chucked the same potential into a significantly more balanced team. It's a tough one.
Especially one of the other changes they made.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so it's a win for me. What about you two?
It's a win. They probably are just about deserving of tier 1 now. I would argue there's a couple of tier 2 teams, especially in league play, which I think are far better in the long term.
Yeah.
Potentially not even that far much of a long term, because you're still humans. You're not as dodgy as elves, so you're not going to be able to beat elves that way, and you're still going to get beaten up by most of the tough teams. So,
yeah, definitely. Ben, Bloodtithe, what's the crack?
Yeah, they're a clear winner. I think you're exaggerating the throwing game for a human compared to the Elven Union, because Elven Union, sure, they don't have sure hands, but they pick up on a 2+. Their catchers aren't just glorified skinks with catch. I just think they kind of do it better.
Okay, all right. There might have been a little bit of hyperbole. I'm just excited to see the boring beginner team get a bit of spice. I think that's good.
Are they the beginner team now?
No, but they were the boring beginner team. It was right. We're gonna play a new game with a new player. What teams are we going to use? Well, humans and orcs. And the human team now, you can, if you're going to run them in a league, they've got more potential than they had before. And I think they are tier 1 now. And I think Ben's probably right. You may end up losing that after a while. I mean, their skills are the same as they've ever been. For their positional, so you can still develop that horrible guard spam with your blitzers. It just means you've got more to buy as you go on, and the more individual positionals you have on a team, the more character the team gets. And I think that's, I mean, 0-1 halfling would have been absolutely fine.
Yeah. And you're probably going to buy one halfling, and he's probably going to sit on the bench until you've got 2 turns left, and you have to score.
That's it. He's in. He's the kicker. He comes in, he gets thrown, or he's just a guy who runs around and fouls things. And if your halflings get sent off, it doesn't really matter.
So I'm just having this image of going, you're right, champ, right, you're in. And he's broken his face.
Yeah, and he's died. It's okay, though, because it's only 30k. So humans, win for me, win for Ben. Bloodtithe, evens or win?
More even, but I think overall a win.
All right, cool. Next team up, we've got some great stuff in chat. Gary says OWA is humans with a tree man. Craig Nash says orcs have goblins, so it makes sense. Glorified skinks, amazing. Bloodtithe for president.
That would be worse than Trump.
Yeah, well, I know. Right, let's have a look at the next team. Okay, so this is it. The Imperial Nobility team, the new team. This is the new beginner team, Ben. You're quite right. Humans are out and the nobles are in. We've seen the spoilers for this team. This is an interesting time. So there are some people that say this isn't the Bretonnian roster. They are technically right. There are some people that are saying this isn't the spiritual successor to the Bretonnian roster, and those people are somewhat less right, I think. They got cheap Fen linemen, blitzers with block and catch, and support blockers with wrestle. I think the roster will feel familiar to some if it's not exactly the same. And overall, I think you get 6 players starting with combat skills, so block or wrestle, and some chaff linemen who are going to die. I think it's enough different from a human team, and it is similar-ish to Bretonnians, that you might get that gameplay kind of feel of the Fend guys, the blitzers who are great, and some real solid blockers with wrestle as well. Interesting team. So, Ben, what are your takings? What are your thoughts on the Imperial Nobility?
So, going from what you say, and I know, so I've had a few debates with people on Facebook about whether this is the Bretonnian team or not.
Yeah.
My issue is, if Games Workshop were to do a Bretonnian team and take the current roster, I don't know where you can go with it to make it different enough now.
They've kind of, they've put this team in that hole, as it were.
Unless you're going to have go back to like old Bretonnians, where I don't know if I can't remember have it in computer game. It might be. I've had a very few Bretonnian rosters mixed up in my head at the moment. Do the peasants still have Loner, or is that gone?
Oh no, they're just zombies with Fend. Great point in chat though. Most extreme noob. The Bretonnian game was around Dauntless. Imperial Nobles with the Ogre has none of that. That's true.
That is true. I love this team. I'm actually currently converting up a Bretonnian team to be this team.
Oh, nice.
From a human team and some other Bretonnian bits.
The Blood Bowl community is going to love that.
I'm really riding to this Bretonnians, guys. My one regret with this team is if they're going to give a human thrower 2+ catch and make a human team the throwing team, it was this team, because those blitzers, the blitzers with catch and block would be awesome catches with a proper throwing game. I think this team could have been that throwing team, and as it is, I think by giving the other human team the 2+ throw, I think has kind of denied us that
something different.
Yeah, and if they're trying to make throwing, if throwing's all about the throwers, well, make it the team in the box. Make it the new team. This is the throwing team, guys. We've done it. This is how Blood Bowl should be played now.
It's still a very interesting roster. So yeah, you're right. The Imperial thrower 6'3", pass and running pass. So this is going to be Brett Farthing. It's just going to be running and just chucking short passes to people. And the Noble Blitzers, who are 105k, 7'3", 3+, 4+, 9+ block and catch. We talked about it in the human roster. The blitzers, you don't really want to throw to a catcher. You kind of want to throw to a blitzer most of the time anyway. Well, these blitzers are better at that. So you're one less likely to make the throw, but still a 3+ with a reroll. If you're a short one. And it can be during the middle of your movement, so you can run in. This thrower's got armor 8 old school, so you can run in, chuck a quick pass to somebody, and then go and mark it or go and give that integral. I can see a run, pass, go in, and then the blitzer immediately has one extra tackle zone to aid it on a blitz to just go and blitz through. So I think it's going to be more of a short pass offense / running game with this team. And those bodyguards, 90k 63359 stand firm and wrestle are massively going to be able to help with that. This is going to be a real brawl of a team against that Black Orcs in the box.
The nobles having access to agility well in general. The blitzer. Sorry, the blitzers having access to agility in general. That I think this works really well. The bodyguards are a lot more defined role where you just want them to just get guard.
Yeah.
Probably maybe block. I don't know. I always when you got wrestle, I never like taking block. Feels like a wasted skill, but at times it's useful.
You're right though. If you want to take guard, you wrestle guard is not a great combination.
No, but stand firm, guard, and block is.
Exactly. But then you've got a dead skill. With general though, and the fact they've got wrestle already, taking a random general skill might not be terrible for these guys. If you want to get them leveled up quickly and risk grabbing that block, tackle wouldn't be awful either. A dauntless wouldn't be awful. Frenzy wouldn't be awful.
The new brawler skill.
Yeah.
Brawler wouldn't be awful. So there's actually taking a cheeky random upgrade on your blocker guys could be reasonable.
Yeah, I like the team. I think it's probably slightly worse than the human team, and I also question it being the beginning team because there's a few awkward skills in there.
I agree. This starter set is pretty advanced as far as Blood Bowl's got. We've got grab, we've got stunties, we've got throw teammate. It's got all the stuff. We've got wrestle, stand firm.
You got you have a lot of people going, I got fend, I got grab.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing missing is shadowing. It's a bit of a shame. Although they did kind of fix that. So that's nice. It's only on 1 dice now, so it's only one thing to count. Okay, general skills. Block, dauntless, dirty player, fend, frenzy, kick, pro, shadowing. There it is. Strip ball, sure hands, tackle, wrestle. You know what? There's only a couple of those that wouldn't be, ideal. If you were to gamble and you end up with a dirty player guy, that might not be optimal, or shadowing. But the rest of it, you could find utility for.
And obviously, the linemen are dirt cheap, and Fens... I don't know about Fend on that mass. Mass Fend, I'm not sure is worth it. A few Fens, I think, can be. I don't know.
Yeah.
You feel on that one?
I think it's going to be... you'll be able to make some running lanes with this team, which is interesting because that's what I thought the Orc team was going to be. I was like, you got grab on the line, strength 4, they're just going to be able to punch a hole wherever they want. This team, if there is a hole, they can gum it up like nobody else with fend and wrestle and stand firm and stuff. It's going to play very differently to the core teams that are out now. It's going to play probably most similarly to the Bretonians, but they are not as flashy as the Bretonians. They are a poor man's Bretonian, I think. And they get an ogre, so I'm happy.
Because my one issue with the team, and it's a massive issue, and it's why I'm converting them to be Bretonian models, is why does the bodyguard's belly have to be hanging out?
I know. Although it's not an unfair analogy to NFL. There's some interesting bits in chat here. So Gary says this might not be the new starter set. Rob says, do we know if there's going to be another or less deluxe set? Stephen Lau, this may be the Indomitus of Blood Bowl.
Ooh.
Which
I don't think so, honestly.
It's got a load of loot in it.
Indomitus didn't have like the rule book and the extras and all of that. Like, you know what I mean?
No, but
sorry.
Had a load of scalpers instead, didn't it?
Yeah, it didn't. I meant it didn't have all the. Yeah, it didn't have all the accessories and stuff.
That's not a great trade. Mass Fend is great fun if you're willing to play a Mimi team. So the guys in chat think there's going to be a second box with simpler teams. I don't know. That could be interesting.
I don't see it myself because I think I've got a horrible feeling they might go back and revisit a few of the teams, like humans and orcs, because the original teams are quite limited in what you can do with them, and the newer teams where every single person has 2 different heads, or almost all of them do. And you have like the wood elves where you can customize what faces. They've got better with the design of the Blood Bowl team, so I wouldn't be surprised a couple of the older ones might get phased out eventually. And I think humans and orcs are 2 of those. Obviously, that would make them brilliant starting teams because they're so easy to put together. But I don't know.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. As long as I wouldn't be opposed to that. I like the builds now. I think they've changed them up enough to be interesting. But the model kits, look at the human team and then look at the Baron team, and like just a significant glow up there. Really impressive. Experienced Bretonian coaches will do just fine with the nobles, says Sturm Jarl.
I don't think you have to do much to change your mindset, and Dauntless actually wouldn't be a bad skill on a blitzer.
It would not at all, and it's a general, so they can get it pretty easily. The noble blitzers not having access to strength means they are just strong catchers, really. It's interesting. I like that. It gives them something different, and they're going to be absolutely great fun to paint. Just going to check the notes, see if there's anything else in there that we've not touched on. No, I think we've got that. So it's a win for me, guys.
Oh, it's a win.
Yeah, it's a win.
BT, it's a win. So a win for the nobility team. Okay, we are halfway there. This is going to be fine. This one's going to be the easy one. Okay, so this is another team, Khemri / Tomb Kings. They're not landing. We're hoping there's going to be a PDF, but for now, they are losers. I'm looking forward to seeing a Khemri team. That was one of the ones that everyone was most excited about, and I'm really excited to get my Vortice Kickstarter to then not be able to use them.
They're the team I've been waiting for GW doing plastic for a long time, because they don't have any models really anymore that work for them, because the Tomb King range is legendary.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough one. I think the teams they haven't done now are the teams that don't have a lot of Games Workshop model analogs. So that's a bit of it's difficult to convert those teams. Next up, we have got, for me, one of the biggest winners of this entire update, the Lizardman team.
Yeah.
So we talked about it the other day. We hypothesized before the roster had come out about the Chameleon Skinks, the fact that they historically had pass block and shadowing, and pass block has been bundled into On the Ball, which combines the mighty kickoff return with the that's a skill of pass block. And so we kind of hypothesized that these guys would end up being really important for the Lizardman team, because they have that kickoff return and they'd probably have a good throwing stat as well. And we were bang on the money. The spoiler landed for the Lizardman team, and everything is the same. The whole team is exactly the same, with the exception of the Chameleon Skinks, who are passing on a 3+, and they get On the Ball shadowing as well. So they get kickoff return, and they're picking up on a 3+, they're passing on a 3+. The Chameleon Skinks just got real good, I think, in this team.
They did. Are they the skink of the two now?
Yeah, must take.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know whether you take two or whether you just take one as a ball carrier and hope he doesn't die. But I love this upgrade. I think I don't think it was needed. Like, Lizardmen were good, top 5 teams kind of good, and now I think they just got a little bit better. Like, basically, it's a hand smoother. It's gonna smooth out some of their tougher drives.
Now, having had a lot of debates today with Lizardmen players who aren't happy, believe it or not,
they're not happy.
They're not happy. It's to do with the starting team. So you can't get free rerolls, Crocsagor and Josaurus anymore. I'm gonna say, do you even really need the Crocsagor that much? Because the rerolls are 70 now, but not these be 60.
Oh, have they gone up?
They've gone up by 10k, the rerolls.
Ooh, that's interesting. I haven't picked up on that.
Saurus are slightly more expensive now as well. The rest is basically the same. I don't know, the Crocsagor might be more expensive, but I don't think you need the Crocsagor. If you've got 6 strength 4 players where strength upgrades are going to be rare, I think you're fine in a league, in a tournament probably as well, because you've got 6 guys on the front line. But unless you play a Black Orc team or an Orc team or Chaos team, you're going to dominate that line of scrimmage. Khemri as well, but we don't know if they exist anymore.
Embarrassingly true.
Chameleon Skinks, you can whack them kind of slightly further back than you would a normal catcher, one on each side. Because of pass block, you can reposition to wherever the kick is very easily. You'll be very quickly moving forward, and they were arguably the 3rd or 4th best team in the game anyway.
Yeah.
Going by tournament statistics here, leagues are awkward because things get very complicated with skill ups.
Absolutely.
But just going by tournament builds, they were the 3rd or 4th best team in the game anyway, and they've got better. They've not really got worse. So I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure Lizardman players are probably listening to this, screaming at me, going, "Oh, you don't understand." And I don't. I'm not using that much. I've lost to them horribly quite a few times. The one actual downside to them is a break tackle is being massively nerfed. It's now +1 if you're strength 4. It's +2 if you're to your dodge if you're strength 5 or more.
Which means those Saurus are only dodging on a 4+, even with break tackle.
Yeah, and so that it does hurt them a bit. But that's about the only thing I've seen where I'm like, yeah, that hurts. Claws has been nerfed, so that helps them.
Yep, that's going to help them.
They've not really needed guard, so the guard kind of it hasn't been nerfed. Defend is a trap. You need everyone with it or no one with it.
Yeah.
Like guard, actually, funnily enough.
Look, I think break tackle on a Saurus was always either a second or third skill, or I might have one guy with break tackle. I think all we're going to end up with now is that those tournament lists where there's 7 block skills being taken. I saw the World Cup builds for Lizards. It was day 1 block, day 2 block, day 3 block, and it was like, oh, okay. So I don't think I think break and tackle is gonna miss out a little bit, but I personally would have the Crocs and drop a Saurus. Saurus 85k. It's only 2-3 games in, and you can replace him. So and the Crocs is hey, I like the big guys. I think it's fun.
Really?
Yeah. I just love a big guy blitz. Love a big guy blitz. But there's no model for it. But hey, what can you do? So
exactly. Why are we complaining? Just don't take it. You can't.
Job done. Everything else stayed the same except the Crocs can't throw, and the Sauruses really shouldn't with passing 6+. The other thing probably to mention is that if you want sure hands on a skink or a chameleon skink, which we've always talked about as level up your skinks, get that sweet double for the sure hands. Now you can just hope one doesn't die for 4 touchdowns, and then you can just straight buy the double. So if you get that chameleon skink, a few touchdowns, swings maybe a lucky MVP, you can take sure hands if you want it automatically, and you can really start building an engine. I think this is going to be a really good team. I like the fact that the rerolls have gone up, and I like the fact that the Saurus has gone up. It's like with dwarves, they're squeezed just a little bit, so they kind of got like a 2-game like everyone else has got a 2-game head start on them without that extra positional, which I think is probably useful. Just check it in chat. Except humans and dwarves, who can get everyone now? Lizards are still in the top 3. Yeah, don't know who grouped the tiers, but orcs are definitely not tier 1 anymore by far. We'll be looking at that very shortly. Curious if anyone will make a ball carrier Saurus anymore. They were fun. Yeah, I can't see. Well, they're picking up on a 4+ though, aren't they?
5 up.
Oh, are they agility 5?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, no. Saurus is no. You're never carrying the ball. So that makes that's exactly the same as it was before, wasn't it? So it just
so agility 1 before, weren't they?
Yeah, you're just not going to get that sweet edge up quite so regularly. So it's a win for me. BT.
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to get Corn out the door because we skipped over him, and he's not best pleased. It's absolutely a win for me. The chameleon skinks just own it. So yeah.
I did miss Corn. Oops. Never mind.
Okay, my boy like that.
Corn is a double loss there, double lose. Yeah. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Right.
Still trying to take it in.
Oh, we got an interesting team now. This one was definitely and is definitely divisive. It's the new Necro team. The Necromantic plus sheets. It's a bold strategy. But yeah. Just right, who wants to start?
Oh God, I love this team so much. I love this team.
They're worse in 7s now.
They were great in 7s. They're white with that integral block. Although you got less carrying things. So I think we should probably just talk about it very, very first. So the Necro team, they lost the white and got replaced by Wraiths, who are actual ghosts. Wraiths are 95k, 6-3, Edge 3+, no passing, Armor 9+, block, foul appearance, no hands, regeneration, and sidestep. So
ethereal team in the necromantic
Yeah, we
team.
got a bit of ethereal in there, which I think is really, really, really cool. Whatever you think of that, all the models, I like the models personally.
Oh, I love them.
They are definitely heavily stylized, not heavily stylized like the Shark team, Ben, that we spoke about, or the
The classic Shark team.
yeah, or the Bugs Life team. So they actually made the goal. The Akaro team got their goal. They reached their
awesome.
Kickstarter. Yeah, I know. It's cool to see. It's cool to see. I've lost my train of thought there thinking about stylized teams. Yeah, it's a heavily stylized team. It's got that Halloween element to it, and I think it's fun. I think there are plenty of models out there if you want to convert a serious Necro team, but if you want a Goblin, Halfling, Snotling level LOL factor for Blood Bowl, this team delivers.
I think the key thing is they have so much. I think I've already used this term like 3 times today, but they've got so much identity compared to the undead team now.
Yeah,
I think
that's the big.
Yeah. With like the change from the white to the wraith, and the model, like the models, how they look now, they just look like their own team rather than just like an undead 2.
Sturmjarl in chat says, "Lost the white, just look under the sheet." Stephen Lau, Blood Bowl monsters for the win. Absolutely.
Sorry, Ben, I cut you off there. What were you going to say?
The best description that I've heard of them, which was it was actually an insult, but I actually thought it was perfect. Not an insult at all. They said, "Why have they made the Scooby-Doo villains reunion?"
Oh my goodness.
I love it. Yeah, that made me want them even more. I'm like, yes, it's the Scooby-Doo villains. They all come together to play Blood Bowl because they can't commit crime anymore or something. I don't know.
I do like that. I think that's a great insult and probably quite accurate. Scooby-Doo for tier 2. So the loss of a white and being replaced with a player with no hands does hurt their ability to move the ball, especially as zombies can no longer pass.
Oh, no.
Hey, I'm running an all zombie team in an all zombie league, and I've pulled out some pass plays.
That's going to be really boring in season 2.
Yeah, I know, it's just handoffs everywhere. So the zombies can't pass. Ghoul runners are 3+ agility, 4+ passing. Ghouls are the same, they've gone up 5k. The race we talked about, the werewolves have gone up 5k, but they're the same. Ag 3, passing 4+. Okay, and flesh golems, they've also gone up 5k. 4+ agility and passing of dash with the same skills as ever: regen, stand firm, and thick skull. So the golems and the werewolves have got a little bit more pricey, but they still do exactly the same thing. Agility of 3+ and 4+ between those two means they can still pick up the ball. I mean, picking up on a 4+ they built the entire Khemri team around that, and everyone loves it. So it's clearly not that bad. Okay, guys, somebody won the podcast here. Sturmjarl, again, Games Workshop would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling leaks.
Yes.
Absolutely brilliant.
So Necromantic's one of my favourite teams. One of the teams I love taking to talks because the werewolves are so much fun.
Yeah.
When there was the rumoured leak that werewolves are being completely rewritten, which fortunately was fake, I was very disappointed. Having said that, I think the biggest nerf to this is all those players are going up, and it's only 5k, but it really hurts that starting team. Really hurts it.
We've got a couple of guys saying that in chat. League play win, Mark. Tournament lose. Every player's gone up in cost, and our boy Paladin. It's a loss from me. Whites were plan C for my playbook. Now I've got to get a new playbook. I think one advantage for the Wraith, I think it has changed the Necro team. I think it's made their tactics a little bit more a little bit more complex. Is the Wraith with block, foul appearance, and sidestep is going to be with guard, which it can get on a regular skill, is going to be a really advantageous piece for the werewolves with claws and frenzy, and with the golems just having straight strength 4. That will, I think, you'll end up with a kind of like a combo. Once you've got that Wraith with guard, it's going to be able to deliver some really good support, and it's going to make the werewolves and the flesh golems more hurty. But it does mean that your ball moving is falling to those ghouls, and the players are expensive. Even with zombies at 40k, rerolls at 70, it's going to be a while before you can afford everything. It feels like, I think the guys are right. In tournaments, at the low end tournament, so 1 million or 1.1, Necro I think are going to suffer a bit, but at 12.50 I think they'll get a bit enabled. They'll have everything, and I think once you have everything, the engine will start working.
I do think the Wraiths might have overtaken the Union Elf Blitzer as the most annoying player to face. Sidestep.
Yeah.
Foul.
That is actually
Foul
very annoying.
appearance.
And regen when you finally get it down and then it comes back.
Yeah, exactly. I think they're going to be interesting. It's the first new positional we've really seen. Everything else has just been alignment with a tweak, comedian skinks or hefties, although they've made the hefties a significant positional. This is a new positional, and we're all going to have to learn how to play with it and how to play against it. I think there's definitely some opportunity with it there, and I'm excited to see, because hopefully it's going to bring something. For me, I said they stayed on par, so they lost passing in the same way as everybody else. The majority of the list stayed the same, and I don't know whether the Wraith is going to be significantly better or worse than the White. So for me, they break even. What about you guys?
I think it's pretty much break even. The one thing I would say is I love the mixed messages that the Wraiths have helmets on, but some of the zombies don't. So the Ghost is still wearing a helmet.
Oh, the Ghost is it's all the Wraiths that are being repainted now. I saw someone in the Blood Bowl community. It took him about 20 minutes after the leak came out. He just took a before and after of his necromantic team with the Whites painted with armor, and then just Nihilak Oxide. Now they're Ghosts. Problem solved. Yeah. I like it. I think that's fair. Bloodtithe, good, bad, even.
I think team-wise, pretty even. I think the Wraiths are an upgrade personally, so I think leaning towards the win, but I think what puts them into win, if I'm allowed to say this, is the model range.
I love the models. I think they're very unique, and they've got a lot of identity, to use Ben's phrase. But this is not the old school necromantic team, so I think yes. The people who really love Necro, this would be like changing the Blitzer in the Underworld team, for example. I think it's probably a fair analog.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. We've got to stop for a couple of teams first. The first up is Norse. Sorry, guys, you didn't make the book. Hopefully, you'll get in the PDF.
That's the team as well.
Who was what? Sorry.
That's up a team as well with what's his face, the old Dogs of War character as my Ilferners.
Oh yeah, Bjorn.
So, yeah,
love that team. Great in sevens. I think when we do see the Norse team come back, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to come back, we might see them redesigned a little bit. And I think getting rid of their throwers or their berserkers, one of them, it just has to go. They're too similar for me.
You see, I think they might just give the Linos Brawler.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That might be the change, which would make them a bit worse. But
that would make them a bit worse.
I think it's, I don't know. I think you need to do something. Them and Amazons need something to spice them up a little bit, in my opinion. Amazon's more than these guys. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, so Norse for now. Losers. Oh no. Right, Nurgle. Who wants to start off with Nurgle?
It's really good that all of them now can turn people into rotters.
Okay, so that's a positive for the entire team. It almost makes up for the fact that the team got worse. It's very sad.
Are they tier 3 now? Are they honestly? Should they be tier 3?
They should be tier 3. I think.
Yeah.
What they did to the rotters was completely unfounded. They reduced them 30. They reduced them 5k. So these guys are now cheaper than zombies. But their agility 4+, which is okay, and their passing is 6+. Personally, the rotters, they have historically for the Nurgle team been the guys that do the things when everything else goes wrong. And now they're just not going to be able to do it, and it's so sad. Nurgle was all about the underdog supporting some real tanks, right? And you cycle the rotters in every now and again. You get a really cool rotter who does some great stuff, and then he falls apart. You just at the moment now they're just going to fall apart. Decay has changed. You don't roll twice on injury. You just add +1, so they are probably less likely to die and get crippled, but they are going to be easier to cripple. And yeah, like Ben said, everybody can create more of them now. Pestigores went down 5k, Bloaters went down 5k, Rotspawn I think stayed the same. So everything got a bit cheaper, but with the passing degradation and the agility on the rotters, who your linemen essentially dropping 1, They're now, for all intents and purposes, worse than zombies, but they can throw, but only a short way. I just
Why did this have to hit Nurgle? I thought Nurgle were the team that were going to shine with an update. You know, they could have had so much more. Like, I think the one thing I really don't get, and I wish they had it, was projectile vomit on the rot spawn, because that is the big guy that should stay there doing nothing. Projectile vomit is perfect for that.
That is such a oh, that's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if anyone's going to get it, I would give it to him over the trolls.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh man, that's oh, what a miss! What an absolute miss.
Yeah. With all the negativity, I'll still say I think rosters are still going to be like they are now. If you can play a league for long enough, so you're playing like 15, 20 games, they will start to come into their own because of access to mutation and things like that. But it's going to be so much harder to get there.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be so much harder to get the star player points now.
So Nurgle and Dwarf and Khemri are slow teams, so they struggle to get those extra touchdowns. So in a tournament environment, they are the kind of teams that benefit from a shutout rule. So you get an extra bonus point if you don't let any touchdowns in, and they did that to kind of keep Nurgle in the loop. But they've just, I think they are probably the biggest losers of Blood Bowl 2020 as it is now. With the cost decrease, with a bunch of stuff going down 5k, you may end up that actually the team can start with 2 Pestigores rather than 1, or is closer to doing that, which can give them a kind of A-game head start in League. So it's possible that the balance is there, but for me, I think they are the biggest losers.
So I've not looked at Nurgle for a while. Do they? You get one, normally get 1 Pestigore?
4 Pestigores.
In a starting team, you only normally take 1?
Yeah, because of the costs. Yes, it's a tough build. So the price going down may give them that 1 game head start to get the 2nd Pestigore and start building out, because having 2 Pestigores, having 3 Pestigores, having 4 Pestigores sooner makes your team significantly better. Yeah, it's underpowered, definitely on the bottom end of tier 2, down there with Khemri. It's a tough one. Nurgle coaches tend to love it because it is a challenge, and it's a formulaic challenge. It's just they look great. They're not as good as they look, which is a shame, because the models I think are really, really well done.
Are they now if you had a mate starting tomorrow and they said, and they've never played before and said, I want to play Nurgle's Rotters, are they the team that you most talk them out of playing?
I would say just use them as chaos, I think.
Yeah.
I'd say just use them as chaos, put little horns on the Rotters, use them all as beastmen. Run your 4 guys as warriors, no one's going to mind. Yeah, I think they took an absolute hooning there, and I think you guys are all in agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Nurgle. Poor Nurgle. With all the cost increase, tournament will probably be at 1150 or 1200. Yeah, foul appearance did get a slight buff. Okay, before we move on, let's have a quick look and check out what happened to foul appearance then, because I don't remember that. I don't remember noting that had changed. Sorry, Ben, go for it.
So with the tournament costs, while you're looking, that's the thing a lot of games say, and sometimes it doesn't actually happen. Sometimes the kind of extra challenge of only having like 1.1, we'll say, for tournaments kind of comes more embedded in the game. I do agree. I mean, I personally think it might go up, but I wouldn't necessarily just assume it is going to go up.
Yeah, I don't think it's I think I like the price increases. I think they're there to make tournaments more balanced, which is amusing, and I can't believe I just said that coming from Games Workshop. But I think I like what I see, and it is going to cost some of those teams an extra player, or it's going to half a player basically, and that could be a massive difference. Foul appearance now works for special actions that target this player as well. So
I think you stuff like Bombardier.
Special action that targets this player.
No, because you target the space, don't you?
You
just
target the space. But it will be for Hypnogaze and Stab.
Vomit.
Chainsaw.
Vomit and Chainsaw, yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay, so it got a little bit of a buff, which
not enough to make up for
Yeah,
that.
I don't know how they could have buffed it up to make it much better.
Looking at the wording, that was already the case actually. Or use a special attack that takes the place of a block before.
Oh, maybe not then, maybe not. All right, let's get to another great team, and one of my favourite teams is the Ogres. I'm going to start this off. I love the Ogre team, and there's a couple of great changes for me. So they get cheaper linemen, and they have disposable now in the way of the wording of you've got cheap linemen or something.
Low buff lineman.
That's the one. Yep. Probably better worded that way. So they get that extra income. All the Snotlings just dropped 5k, so you should be able to buy an extra Ogre sooner for League, and you should be able to squeeze more out in a tournament, regardless of how disposable reads in a tournament setting. But the biggest win for me, and this is why these guys get a giant green star for me, is that Kick Teammate is now essentially for all. It is a second throw teammate every turn, except if you fumble it, the Noblar explodes. But I am so okay with that. I'm so okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I love this. They get more stuff, and you finally get to launch 2 Noblars a team if you want. No downside, Noblar confetti, says Matt in chat. Brilliant.
I think you're bearing the lead here, though. The punters pass action 4 up.
Yes.
Ogre passing game.
They can do it. Now, Ogres, their agility is 4+ on an Ogre anyway. So they're picking up the ball same as they ever were. Pass on a 4+ with the punter with passing access. So yeah, if you want to maneuver the ball, the punter's going to be able to do it. It's a shame it doesn't tie in with throw teammate. But depending on how Kick Teammate actually says, you do it as a throw teammate action. So these guys, I think if pass and accurate, I don't think accurate works. I think only strong arm works for throwing a guy. But they still can now take skills that will affect the throw teammate. So for me, Ogres just got better. They're still not great. They are great. They are great fun, but they are going to win more games than you expect them to. And it's just got better for them. So I'm like super stoked about this.
I mean, they were the worst team in the game, arguably, going by the stats again. So
yeah, I don't agree with those stats.
Well, it's because most people who take Ogres to a tournament, I think it's diluted because most people take Ogres to tournaments go for most casualties. So they do not care about winning the game, generally. In fact, I mean, they probably want to lose to play worse, get to other teams to kill them more.
Yeah.
Throwing it out there. I when I originally saw the roster, I was just like, well, nothing's changed. It wasn't until I saw Kick Teammate, I was like, actually, no, they've got better. They've definitely got better.
Kick Teammate's huge, and I think this is going to be probably going to be it's not going to be the most fun stunty team, but it has its own thing, which is double pass, a load of stuff, and just big guys. Right. You can smash and throw stuff. It's great fun.
Pass and kill one of your Nobblers.
Yeah, that's great fun. It's not even a turnover unless he's got the ball. It's fine.
Yeah,
and they're cheaper, so you get more. You can take riotous rookies still. Great Clash in chat. Anybody get the feeling that Bonehead Ben is happy that Ogres got buffed? I am very happy. Good job, Games Workshop. I'll forgive everything else. Let's move on. Right.
I just wanted to give a mention with the Ogres as well. With the new skill package change, it's going to be a lot easier to level these guys up.
Yes.
With like your essential skills like block and stuff.
And they get it all as well. They get every skill except mutation on their Ogres. They got even better, Ben. Good pickup. So probably another one of the most divisive ones that have come out is the Orc roster. So Orcs and Humans have been the starter set since Romans played the game. So this makes a lot of sense. Humans got better. Orcs got different. Okay. What do you think? What do you think the biggest change for the Orc team is?
One word, probably unnecessary.
I love it. Honestly, I've actually ordered an Orc team after this.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
I love the animosity because it's like, what's it? It's Orky. I know.
Yeah,
yes.
I agree. Yeah.
Yes, it has made them arguably worse, but you know, okay, yeah, the thrower's going to pass the ball. No, I didn't. It's my ball. You know, I want to score the touchdown.
Orcs always brawl amongst themselves. So orc change is animosity. So orc linemen have animosity to orc linemen. The throwers have animosity to everybody. Blitzers have animosity to everybody. And the big un blockers, so the black orcs got slightly upgraded to movement 5. The black orcs, and they have animosity to other black orcs only. Goblins are the same, and the untrained troll, it's an untrained troll, so loner 4+ classic troll here. So yeah, if you're planning on passing the ball or handing it off, it's going to be harder, but only slightly.
The only sad thing is, Al brought this up in one of our chats. It was my orc team back in the day, where I had 56 completed passes with my thrower in one season. I'm not going to lie. Most of those were about 2 squares. And one of those came against Halfling where I threw the ball every turn and my blitzer came back and handed it off to the thrower as I moved down the pitch.
Just carried on.
I had injured and killed like 6 players in the first 2 turns. So it was a bit cheeky, but
farming those SPP. So the thrower though did get 5k cheaper. Still moved 5, but it does have a pass of 3+. So the orc thrower got slightly better, I think.
It's still an orc runner in all but name, really.
Yeah, I suppose the blitzers are still the key piece, and they're passing on a 4+, so they got a slight nerf, but it's not horrific.
I'm very excited that the big uns are now movement 5 rather than movement 4.
Yeah.
That I think is actually fairly big because it means if he gets knocked down and someone's run off, it feels sad and you move up and then you stand them up and move 1 space.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really, really tough one. BT, what do you think?
I was honestly expecting them to change this more because I was expecting to go down to like 2 black orcs or something, just to like differentiate the big black orc team compared to this. I mean, it's good they've changed them to big uns. They have kind of identified them, but they kind of made them bigger than the black orcs, which is, in a way, do you know what I mean? Or no, black orcs are moving 5 on that team. I didn't check.
No, I think they're 4. They're proper black orcs.
Okay, yeah.
All the practitioners are 2 less than the Lizardman version.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like the team. I think the only reason I said unnecessary at the beginning is it just feels like this feels quite wordy for what is a starter team.
What has historically been a starter team.
Has historically been, yeah. But yeah.
Both the historical starter teams have got more stuff now. But yeah, having all that animosity and having it be for different things is a bit clunky. And for me, that's the reason why orcs are a little bit of a loser. They're in tier 1. And that animosity where some of these people don't like some of the other people, but some of these people are fine with some of these other people. It's just a bit too much real world. I don't like that much real world in Blood Bowl. That's why I like giants and wizards. So
can you imagine doing a demo game with these guys? Right, Timmy. So yeah, you got the orc lineman's got a ball. He wants to pass the other linesman, but that's an animosity. He can pass the blitzer. That's okay. What?
yeah. No, pass the blitzer is fine. He voted in. This guy voted out, so it's a 2+ to pass it to him. You just got half the orc team with tiny EU flags. It's fun. It does add a dynamic. Their troll stayed the same, but they can now vomit on things. They've dropped a little bit, in my opinion. I think orc players are still going to love brawling with orcs. Hopefully they'll be able to buy that thrower to get that passing option. But your blitzers and your faster black orcs now are still going to be able to pound face in a traditional orc style, I think.
I think there's more of an argument now. You always start with 2 throwers because for 15k more than a linesman, having that extra sure hands on the pitch.
Yeah. I think so. It's funny. I originally put that I thought these guys were losers of orc land. I think I'll probably talk myself back up to medium. But I think I'm going to stick with loser. What about you guys? Winners, losers, in between?
For me, losers. I think honestly,
they are losers. They haven't gone down by much, in my opinion, but because I mean, as I say, the all passing game is not really a thing anyway, but there will be times it will be important.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Ben, you're up. It's Old World Alliance time.
Okay, so they're winners because they're in the book and they're amazing. Even there's lots of things I'm really sad about. Okay, where do we start?
Let's go with some good stuff.
Halflings lost Loner.
Yes. So right, they can also take a tree man instead of the ogre.
That's good.
So if you want, I think with the tree man coming with strong arm, if you want to make use of the halfling losing loner and the tree man starting with strong arm means you've got a better throw teammate game to use with half a human team. So
yes,
I think they managed to, while they did dilute the personality by giving halflings to the humans, they did put a bit more back in by giving them access to treeman with and removing that horrible loner for the halfling element.
The issue is, and the only other issue is, and I'm not. I think this is a change. I don't think did the humans used to have animosity towards the halfling.
I think they just had animosity. I think it was literally just animosity.
Yeah,
but the linesmen have lost animosity.
Yeah, the linesmen are now fine. They're accepting of everything. The thrower, all the humans, animosity to dwarf and halfling. All the dwarves have not got animosity. They've got Loner 3+, which has got better as well.
Much better.
And the halflings have got animosity to all dwarves and humans.
I'm going to say, I actually really like the dwarf blocker, and I do really wish this was the dwarf blocker the dwarves had.
Yeah, I mean, this is the one we saw, wasn't it? The spoiler. So 0 to 2 old world dwarf blockers, 75k, so 5k more expensive than a dwarf. 4+, 5+, 10+. Armbar, which is +1 to armor if someone in your tackle zone dodges or leaps away and stacks it. And Brawler, which is you can re-roll both down if you want to.
Now, someone pointed out, and I think they're actually quite right. I think Brawler actually might be better than block on the blockers, just because obviously they got Loner.
Oh, so yeah, it's kind of like an auto pro at 1/6 of the time.
So but only on one, and only on one, well, potentially one of your dice. But that potentially is going to help them a little bit. I still like the team. I still think it looks fun. It does feel like the shine's been taken off a bit because the humans got more halflings on them.
These guys can only take 2.
I kind of think and unlike the pack, which get better dark elves, we get worse dwarfs.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. This team felt tier 2 when it landed, and is apparently tier 1 now.
Tier 1.
I think that's wrong. I think these guys are losers in this situation. I think I'm going to change my original vote because I liked some of the stuff, but I think tier 1 and the fact they got a bit stitched a little bit, to be honest.
I think they have. I would say I don't know if the tiers at the moment obviously means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Going into the future, pro getting better is also going to help the dwarfs.
Yep, on a 3+ now.
Yep, so that's actually, that is a bit of a buff, and I'm quite glad that happened. So between the two, I don't feel quite as bad about blocking once I got pro. Again, for tournament builds, I'm not taking pro as a skill because I don't think.
Yeah, but for league, it might be a good, just good grinder skill.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they're going to be a fun team to play. I do kind of wish they'd done some new dwarf models. I don't mind the human models not changing, just because having painted them now, the aesthetic between the two is very different. And it is quite jarring having.
It really is.
Yeah,
we saw this. I think at Bonehead there was a couple of human dwarf teams, and with all the paint jobs in the world, I mean, Ian Warham is going to finish off an OWA team for us with his tiger stripes, so the Cincinnati Bengal style, and it'll be interesting to see if he can tie them together. So for me, they've had a bit of a nerf, and it's a bit of a shame. So they've lost, in my opinion. You guys, even win or loss?
I think a loss for me. Like you say, that if they had the dwarves of the dwarf team, like the
Proper
everyone's
dwarves.
favorite dwarf, they would have been a bit better. But yeah, it just seems like they kind of don't quite do everything the other teams that they derive from do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame.
Because I love them, but I wish they'd added an elf in, just like an elf.
Yeah.
Just something special. Just something that the other team doesn't have. So,
Good renegade, you know.
Hooday.
Give them a war dancer. That seems fair.
Well, you know what? Having both big guys would have probably been okay. That probably would have done it. That probably would have done it. Right.
It does mean I'm now that new tree man, which just comes with the squirrel. So I mean, I have a reason to buy that squirrel.
When is the tree man coming? It's been coming forever. It's the promised land of Blood Bowl. Oh, it's time for me to get very excited again. So I am a big Skaven coach and I'm a big ogre coach, but the Skaven team for me are just winning everywhere, winning face. I'm going to get excited here. So the thrower is now the best thrower in the game, except maybe the pro elf.
Third time we've said that.
This is the best thrower.
All right, it's the second best thrower in the game, and I actually mean that because of the support it's got, and a 2+ pass with 7+ movement, sure hands 3+. So the thrower with its 3+, 2+ is now really good. It does a better job of collecting and passing the ball than the gutter runner did in the olden times, in the before times where the Blood Bowl was black and white. What you used to see is a lot of Skaven teams might not take that thrower. They might just use a 4th gutter runner with the cheeky 2+ edge to swoop down, get the ball, and then use that gutter to move the ball up or to be the passer, taking most of that edge for. With the thrower getting that sweet throwing boost, it now enables the rest of your gutter runners. So if you want to do, if you want to have a good way of just running a passing offense, or just, I don't know, I just think this team got slightly more fun because the thrower essentially got edge 4 when it's throwing. And that just unleashes the gutter runners for me. I'm a big fan of that thrower, and I do genuinely think second best thrower in the game for that reason. Because you throw into gutters.
He's faster than a human thrower, which I think makes him better.
Yep.
I was having played a lot of Skaven. The thrower, I did use to take a thrower, but it did kind of feel like he was just, you know, like you ever seen basketball? And they got the guy they bully.
No.
And it basically felt like the gutter runners went, "Oh, you go and get the ball, just so we don't have to go run all the way back there to run forward to get thanks. Okay, now just hang at the back, I guess." Yeah,
go deep. The thrower was always there for when one of your gutters got killed. It stepped in. Now I think the thrower is going to be a really solid part of the team. Sure hands is the worst skill in the game, but it balances it out, and it's just going to unlock the gutters, and the gutters have gone up in price. The throwers significantly gone up in price, 85k. The gutters are 85. Rerolls have gone down to 50. So I think
the price increase.
Yeah, it's going to balance out. So the gutters can't pass as well, but everything else is great. Throwers got significantly better. The line rats are still exactly the same. They're throwing on a 4+. So this is like an elf team that doesn't dodge as well. So it's a cheaper elf team. And the blitzers are great. The mutations on a double, sure, but general strength on the pass. The rat ogre got slightly better with animal savagery rather than wild animal. So on a 1, it doesn't just not do what you want it to do. So if you want to blitz with a rat ogre, which you probably shouldn't, but I always do, you know, you just need to put a clown rat next to him to die, and then he'll go off and carry on doing what he's doing. The Skaven team got better.
You're going to have to watch out for this team.
I would say the one thing that makes me sad about rat ogres not being able to pass is I once won the league final where the sensible play after Gutter Runner did a 2 dice block to get the ball out of some guy's hand, their choice, was for my rat ogre to pass it.
Oh my goodness!
To win, and it came off and it worked, and I won. I went to get overtime and I won in overtime. Obviously, that is now would no longer be doable. I'm very.
Oh no,
legacy play that only you can do now.
No.
Yeah, that'd be one of the stories. Well, yeah, back in my day when rat ogres could do parts and win you the game.
Yeah. Look, I mean, the thing is with the rat ogre is, it can't pass now, which is a solid strategy.
It's fine.
With the players getting more expensive, the core players, I think the rat ogre is going to get left out in the cold more often. but it is slightly better. So if you want to run the Ratogre 2-gutter build instead, you can, and it will be a little bit better for you. Big win for me for Skaven. I feel like you guys are in agreement.
Yeah, definitely.
Changing my mind there. I think this might actually be better than Lizardmen.
Yeah, it's definitely up there. I'm looking forward to hopefully next week getting a trial game of this in, and I'm going to be trying out these Skaven because I think they've snuck into the top 3.
I think this is definitely the first team we'll be trying that new accurate long bomb skill on.
Oh yeah,
these guys are really good here.
It's just like cheap elves. It's going to be great fun. Right, next up is the Slan team, and they're probably never coming into this, are they?
I love that you couldn't even get a GW picture of them. All the other teams that aren't in the game, you at least saw them from the computer game, but they're not even in the computer game.
I refuse to use Kislev, and I was really tempted to use some first edition Slan art, but I thought that might just be too distant. Personally, the Frogs team is one of the better models, and luckily I've got enough positionals to use these as pro elves. So I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to see a lot of proxied Slan teams as we move on with Blood Bowl 2020. So Slan,
I think they're probably actually the biggest down here, because not only are they not going to probably have rules, even if they do get rules, Leap got a bit nerfed.
Leap did get nerfed, so they're basically going to be leaping -1, -2. The only way I can see them doing this is if they give them all pogo stick, but that just seems weird as a rule. So
you should use the meme, which is from the Blood Bowl community site, which is our Slam players coaches right now is a Kermit the Frog with a bottle in a
I absolutely should have seen that. Stephen Loud, are we going to see a 2027's team podcast? Absolutely. You're going to see it on YouTube as soon as the world opens up a bit and we can get some filming on the go. I think we'll probably...
What can you do with the passing?
No, it's going to stay the same. Just run it. Just run it as this, and just see how it goes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Kickoff table.
Kickoff table. I think. I don't actually know. I'll go to the Sevens group on Facebook and see what everybody thinks. I like the kickoff table for Sevens. I think it works well. But I do like the positive changes to 2020 with everything being D3 plus 3 players now instead of everybody. I think that's really good. Craig in chat says, stop trying to make Slan a thing. Steven says, Slan must return. Games Workshop, listen to us. Look, I think it would be awesome if they brought it back. They brought back the Zote. They brought back Space Dwarves. They're bringing stuff back, and I want to see Slan. I want to see him land.
Squats might actually be in 40k soon.
Oh, how good is that?
Heavily hinting in some of the books. So
I've got a couple of the Necromunda guys. It's just to have. Right, Snotlings. Another biggest losers. What are you talking about? It's nonsense.
If I'm honest.
Get out of here.
So we have waxed lyrically about the Snotling team roster, and I'm really excited. It isn't going to be good, but it's a lot of fun. The pump wagons are basically mini death rollers. They're not great, but they are cool. And the team gets half price bribes and disposable, so they'll always have enough cash to get those bribes in. They've got 2 trolls as well, so the roster's running 3 to 4 strength 5 guys on most drives. There's a movement 9 Snotling, the one with stilts. There's a pair of bombers who can get Hail Mary on a single upgrade with 6 SPP, and some random little movement 6 bouncing dudes as well. I think this roster looks really fun. It will be bad, but it'll be very entertaining, and it's going to win some games it shouldn't win. So I don't know. Have I missed anything out here about this Snotling team?
Like we said earlier, it kind of makes goblins look ordinary. I think this team. I think it looks so wacky, so much fun. It's going to be the new sort of meme team, I think, for tournaments. So.
Yeah, definitely.
It's the most fun team in the game just because of the amount of stuff you can do. Except, because I'm actually probably now going to get some Snotlings. Underworld Alliance Snotlings, what I'm saying.
Dude, I'm so excited about that as well. I got a great bit here in chat. Craig Nash says, bets on Bonehead Ben, saying that the Snotlings have the best thrower in the game. To be fair, having 2 of those fungus flingers, with getting Hellberry Pass on 6, they could be the best bombardiers in the game. Maybe.
I'm starting to think you need to go back at the beginning of the podcast and put an edit saying, right, drinking game. Every time someone's the best thrower in the game, take a shot.
They do have a troll, which is the best thrower in the game.
They have
very snotlings.
2 trolls, and they're loner
Yep.
3+. So they're good trolls. They're the goodest of all the trolls. I'm excited for snotlings. I think they're a win, and I think they are going to be bad, but I think they're going to be enjoyable to lose with because you're going to cause some carnage.
They're making me want to play dwarfs, just so I can see them in the league, and then I go and kill them all and get those star player points. It'd be great.
You know, I've got an
Wouldn't you
ogre
be
team
mad?
for the new players in our league just to play the ogre team against their team on their first game to get them that SPP, and that's how I fell in love with ogres, is because I kept winning these training games with just snotling shenanigans and things. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just going to put you guys down to say that the snotling team's a win because
It's a fun team, even if even if you never win a game with it. That time you almost win a game.
Oh yeah, well that's the stunty rule.
Sweating.
It's the stunty rule, isn't it? A draw is a win, and a loss is a draw with stunty.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Ben, you're familiar with undead, I believe.
They are probably between them and Skaven. They're probably the team I've played the most.
This is
love
the team
undead.
you won Bonehead Bowl with, I believe.
It is. I wasn't a mixed team though, but I actually could have made it better by making it a mixed team with exactly the same players.
Camry?
Yeah, but taking Necromantic, I had exactly
Oh,
the same team, but I'd have got, because Necromantic are tier 2, I'd have got a double.
oh, you would have done. You absolutely would have done.
So,
Yeah, see, could have min-maxed that.
I really
Right.
could have.
So, Shambling Undead. Did we have any changes or any significant notes for Undead?
No, it's basically the same team. The ghouls are slightly worse at passing because that's it, really. They've won because they've not lost. Really,
I think that's fair. They've not got worse. Rerolls were always 170. Mummies have gone up. Ghouls have gone up 5k a piece. Obviously, zombies and mummies can't throw, which is disgraceful. But otherwise,
so which gives me hope for Kenry.
yeah, exactly.
6+ passing game.
God, I love that sweet Saurus passing game.
That's basically just like a thrower passing with 1 tackle zone.
Hey, a 6 always works now as well. So yeah, they're quids in. Still 0 to 4 ghouls, still 0 to 2 blitzers, still 0 to 2 mummies. This team, with the price increase, might suffer a little bit, but because you've got cheap linemen, you may just run 11 players on your first game, and then just hopefully kill a guy and get one for free.
Yeah, I think other teams have lost worse with the points increases, and I still think it's the most balanced roster in the game.
Yeah, I think these guys have stayed solid. Right, BT, is that a win for Undead for you?
Yeah, I kind of was thinking more middle, just because they're still just they didn't really win much, if you know what I mean. They're kind of just still the same old solid undead that we always know and love.
They're kind of on par with Dark Elves for me as the team that are just really good.
Yeah.
I'd say how they've won. Their white blitzers didn't get no hands, which apparently all the
Their blitzers didn't get ghosted. What do we got? Craig Nash says undead are for people who can't play orcs.
Ooh.
Like that. Paladin says I'll have to wait for an undead alliance to get my team back for 2020. Ooh, that's I can see that coming. I really can.
Undead Alliance, yeah, maybe actually. I think once we've seen the werewolves, the vampire team, if they ever do they will do a vampire team.
Oh, I really hope they will. Okay, so my vote for up there are the teams that just won the most cool stuff. So Underworld has had a tough year. Underworld coaches have had a very tough year. They lost their positionals at the beginning of the year, middle of the year. I don't know. It's just one big horrible year. So. Where are you? Underworld. Yeah, what an emotional roller coaster for Underworld coaches. First, they moved the cheese, lost a blitzer and a thrower for a gutter and a lineman, which wasn't super, but was okay. Now, they have been rewarded. They got mutated snotlings, and the gutter is taking mutations on a single as well. So your double-headed dude is running in there and doing great stuff, or you've got big hand on that gutter really quickly because the gutter is going to be scoring. The Skaven thrower, this is hilarious, in the show notes, is now the best thrower in the game. Everybody drink.
How can he be?
I did write Ish on the show notes. I did the best thrower in the game, Ish, and has a gutter to catch. And seriously, don't underestimate throwing to a Snotling though for that sweet 2+ with a reroll titchy movement. The Underworld, they got pro guys.
No, I really like the Underworld. It's the Snotlings with mutations. I think there's actually some really nasty things you could do there.
There's some insanely fun things you can do with these guys.
Snotling with big mouth has to be done.
So that's reroll catch and it's got sure hands versus strip ball.
Yeah, but just the idea of a Snotling.
That's basically a Squig player.
Becoming the ball.
Yeah, but I think there's even that model, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So these guys get bribery and corruption, so half-price bribes as well, which doesn't really do anything. But if you're going to take a few extra Snotlings to be your Fowlers, could be useful. 3 Clan Rats, the Skaven Thrower working with the Gutter Runner, and even more Source. They can take a mutant rat ogre with mutations on a single instead of a troll if you want.
Now, I really like this for the simple fact of I'm not sure about Savage Animal yet. Animal Savagery. I'm still on the. I think it's better, but I don't like the idea of one of your players getting hit. That's fine. Just put a Snotling next to him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What a sweet combo.
It's fine. Bang.
Ooh,
You might even realise he's killing it.
Someone in chat said, did the Goblin Linemen get downgraded? No, the Goblins are exactly the same, 0 to 12. You can just take up to 6 Snotlings as well, which is great for list building because if you need to pad out your numbers, you just drop a Goblin, take 2 Snotlings. You drop 2, you're just netting cash. So when more star players come in, now Hackflem is in there. So tournament builds for Underworld, we've lost Skitter, but you've still got Hackflem, but you've also got a Rat Ogre with Claw, which I think more than makes up for that second Blitzer that they lost.
100%.
And you just got some ridiculous mutations. This team was the mutation team, then they changed it a little bit, but now they have massively delivered. This is the conversion dream of a team, and I'm looking forward to seeing what people do with this. And it's only tier 2, which I don't know. I think this is going to overperform as a team.
Because I'm kind of glad for Underworld players that they kind of got that bad experience with the Gutter Runner coming in and losing the Blitzer to then kind of be rewarded later. Because if they come out here now, this is the first time they've seen they're losing the Blitz and gaining the Gutter Runner, it might take a bit of the shine off what they're getting.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right. I think the fact that they went through the whole this isn't as good, then to just be delivered better. I don't know. Maybe it's just a conditioning thing for the Underworld fans that Games Workshop was like, we want to change this, but we want them to feel good about it, so we're going to wreck their team first.
Oh, so you can sell them a Snotling kit.
Yeah. So the team can now get 0 to 6 Snotlings and can take a Rat Ogre instead of a Troll if you want. I think this is great. You get half Skaven stuff, you get Snotlings and Goblins with mutations as well.
They get swarming as well still.
They what, sorry?
The Snotlings get swarming still.
Oh, sweet. So you can deploy an extra D3 of them at the beginning of a drive. So this
That's just extra players.
Ooh.
You just take 11 normal players on the pitch, then get D3 Snotlings.
That is very interesting.
Snotlings are awful, but 3 extra players on the pitch, that's still 3 extra tackle zones.
Well, yeah. I mean, the tackle zones are titchy, so they don't apply a modifier, but you still got to roll dice, and the more dice you roll, the quicker your opponent's turn is.
And you've just got them being annoying and...
Yeah.
Stunty shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, you've got cheap bribes, fouls. There we go. We're nearly there, guys. We are nearly there. Vampires.
So, do we all think they're getting animal savagery?
It would make sense and would work as a skill, same as Squigs when Squig teams arrive, which, please, let Squig teams arrive. But, yeah, vampires... They've got to be there. They've been in Blood Bowl forever. Some of the best or infamous stars of vampires. I can't see them dropping it. This is for MJ Pilgs. This is for Fangs. They've got to be back. They've got to be back.
Jim is a vampire. He can't exist in a game which there are no players for.
Exactly. They are canon. They're not going to get dropped. And I think that when they do land, the team will look amazing. I like all the new aesthetic, and I think when they do land, it will be amazing. I think they'll get something else. I think they'll get like a big guy or a second position, or even if it's just human blitzers or something, or an ogre, because they seem to be enjoying putting ogres in everything.
Because it's a vampire. like a vampire lord or something.
Like a big Strigoi or a Vargulf or something. Yeah, Savage Animal Frenzy could get the Rat Ogre into trouble. Yeah, definitely, but Rat Ogres, that's what they're there for. Give them claw and just let them, they're just a big werewolf at that point. Gary says, why was there no Snotlings in my Underworld box? Because this isn't real yet. This is all technically could just be pulled and might not never exist, which would be
this could be the most fake ever.
Oh, I'd be so pleased with that. Like, I would just go play the fake Blood Bowl 2020. Anyway, vampires, watch this space. When they land, I think they will be very interesting. Okay, we've got some Wood Elves. So, who wants to start with the Wood Elves?
I don't want to piss any more than I have done already.
Ben, I think your comment in the chat in the show notes was they are still good. Probably sums it all up.
Yeah. They're still good, and they say, "Oh, they lost the throwing game," and I get it. That was a big part of the team, but they're still going to be one of the best teams in the game. War Dancers are still the best starting player in the game. There's no, no one else bar Amazon Blitzers gets Blodge starting, and they're too slow to be good, and don't have agility 4, and don't have leap.
Yeah,
and they exist.
And they exist.
Yeah, fair play.
So yeah, leap got nerfed, but only to the extent of it depends on the amount of tackle zone. So if you're cage diving, it's gonna be hard. But quite frankly, that's okay. That's just a bit of a leveler. Their throwing game is not as good as other teams, but they're still elves. We were talking 4+, I think.
Yeah, 4+, except for the Treeman.
A Treeman is a 5+, so even the Treeman's not bad at throwing. You get throwers 2+, yeah, they're not as good as Skaven, except that they kind of technically are. And yeah, linemen 2+, 4+.
Best thrower in the game.
Yeah, well, up there definitely. That's a bit far, Ben, but yeah. The catchers have lost sprint, so there's a couple of downgrades. The leap skill got worse. War Dancers got 5k more expensive. The throwers got 5k more expensive, and the catchers lost sprint, so they're a little bit slower. I think, what did I write in the show notes? Their leap got a little bit worse, and their throwing got a little bit worse, and they got a little bit more expensive. This is still a top table team, but now you've really got to earn it. I think.
Which is what it should be.
Yeah.
I hate to use the phrase, but I do if I think of, because I think it's hot and a little bit late. But sometimes you play against Wood Elves, and it just felt like they were playing a different game and cheating.
Yeah.
Oh no, I caged up. That's fine. I'm going to leap in on a 3+. How's it 3+?
Never mind. It's the blue deck of Blood Bowl. It just ignores everything you're doing. And now, they're still probably the top team. It's just they're not quite so far. It's like in NASCAR when there's a crash and everyone just lines back up. They're not 10 seconds ahead.
I don't think they are the best team anymore. I think they're good. I don't think they are. I think they've dropped behind Skaven, Undead, and Lizardmen, definitely.
I think the top 5 are closer now than they've ever been before.
Oh, that I agree with. I think the field spread, so to speak, is definitely bunched up, and that's the whole length of it.
And I think that's superb. So for me, the Wood Elves lose, but they are still a great team.
Yeah.
What about you, BT? How are you feeling about the Wood Elves changes?
Yeah, you summed it all up. I think. Yeah, no, I can't add much more to that. Still good.
It's like the New England Patriots losing Tom Brady. You still got Bill Belichick. You got Cam Newton. It's not the worst it could. Well, they've lost
still the Patriots.
Yeah, they're still the Patriots. They have
their entire defensive guys to COVID, but that's.
Oh yeah, I know. Josh De Silva says Wood Elves are just reverse dwarves, except now they can't auto win. I like that. I think that's it. I think the pack just got closer. Right, that does wrap up all of the teams for Blood Bowl 2020. I know there was a bit of a long sesh there, but we just thought it was worth talking about how the teams have been affected by the rules and how they've been affected by their own roster changes. And I think it was really good to chat it out. I learned some stuff there that I hadn't considered. Apparently I'm too positive about throwing. But that just means good things for my opponent. So that's not terrible. That's not terrible.
Have an intervention.
Podcast intervention. No, I'm going to take it out of the tabletop now. This is going to be it. Thrower, 4 gutter runners. I don't care how many touchdowns I let through as long as I score a few as well. Before we wrap up, chaps, is there anything you think we've missed?
No. The only thing I was going to say, I've got to when Khemri came up. Have you guys ever seen the only official Khemri Blood Bowl team GW have done?
No. The old school one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which had the skeletons, which were the worst models in the world to put together ever.
The torso and the legs were separate, but they joined at the spine. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't buy that team.
I did, and I threw away all the skeleton bits and bought a plastic box of skeletons just so I could use because they had some cool accessories. That was all I used from the box.
Yeah. We just need some good Tomb Guardian models. That would have enabled the team beautifully. Terrible Sculpts 2003 says Craig Nash. He remembers them. Sturmjarl says learning curve for Wood Elves. Only newer Wood Elf coaches will play them after all the old coaches quit the game. I don't know. I do think that of all the teams that have got to change up how they play, I mean, Necro take a bit of a hammering, losing that white. Wood Elves take a bit of a hammering by just being worse at everything than they were before. But still great. I mean, it's like every fantasy trope ever where some kind of immortal becomes mortal for a bit and has to learn how to use a telephone or something. They're just going to go through that.
I'm having like a billionaire who's just lost like $10 million and is just crying with other dollar notes.
Yeah, there's like a billion movies from the 90s about this, and Wood Elves are about to be in their own one. So I look forward to that.
I think we're going to see Nurgle, potentially see goblins overtake Nurgle in the tier list.
I think in the stats, I think that's yeah.
I think you're right. I think they've been hanging down the bottom of tier 2. There's a crossover now, isn't there? There's a little grey area.
Going by the stats, there used to be quite a gap between tier 3 and tier 2, and GW's done a good job, I think, of closing that gap.
I think I agree completely.
I agree, and I think the stunty coaches have just got better at playing them as well.
Yeah, well, some stunty coaches won tournaments since GW made some changes. There's a Goblin and Halfling tournaments teams have won tournaments.
I believe it. Because with this stunting you can do it, and now it's just harder. But when your combos line up, it's almost unstoppable. Right. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up there. Ben, thank you very much for joining us on the show and spending a couple of hours talking about teams. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. If anyone else wants to come on, you have to call Ben, live in the UK, and play football. So.
We are also looking for a third Ian, if anyone can find one. Just because
collecting them.
Yeah, we've got to balance out the numbers. And Bloodtithe, it's always fun to have you on to talk.
Thank you very much. Great to chat with you, Ben.
Brilliant. Right, guys in chat, thank you ever so much for your great insight, great questions, and those of you out there listening on the podcast. Hopefully, you don't disagree with us too much, but do get in contact if we've messed anything up, because the format is super new. We've probably missed a couple of rules because the rulebook doesn't come out for 4 months, so I think you can cut us a little bit of slack, but we'll be back way before those 4 months, and we will catch you all very soon. Thanks for playing.
Bye bye.